go. All the right moves, but we ain't moving. Explosions of passion, but we ain't grooving. You can't rewrite the past with cash in hand. The power of a closed wallet, now that's where we stand. The pen cuts deep, and we'll fight that fight. You can't claim culture, we'll unite in the light. History ain't yours to sell or buy. Ubisoft, it's time you realize why. Keeping in the past, but you dig it too deep. Taking sacred boots, selling them cheap. You fired off shots with your legal department blast. But that smoke don't last, man, it fades so fast. Fades so fast, 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 fades so fast. You loaded the clip, but we ain't taking aim. Cause the truth's what'll put you to shame. We're not silent, no we won't stay still. This ain't for sale, man, it's a way to feel. Samurai spirits, lost in your haze. The honor, the roots, they don't live in your maze. Legal team glasses, but it fades to smoke. And history's fire ain't a thing to provoke. Scrolls in your hands, but you don't feel the weight. Playing with the past, but you sealed your fate. We see the cracks in your glossy frame. History's too real to turn into a game. The right moves, but we ain't moving. Explosions of passion, but we ain't grooving. You can't rewrite the past with cash in hand. The power of a closed wallet, now that's where we stand. The pen cuts deep, and we'll fight that fight. You can't claim culture, we'll unite in the light. History ain't yours to sell or buy. Ubisoft, it's time you realize why. Fades so fast.
Da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da dum da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da dum da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da. Diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da. Da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da da diddy dum 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 da.
Don't you see? It's a fantasy. Digital dreams and harmony. Let him shout, let him cry, but what we say, Genshin baby, yeah, it's okay to play. It's okay to play, it's not real life. Into the game, leave behind the strife. It's okay to play, no need to fight. Genshin's a vibe, it's alright. It's okay to play, we're doing just fine. No hate, no stress, we're in our prime. Pixels and stories, it's all pretend. No need for a boycott, that's the end. Characters change, it's a fantasy stage. Leave the drama, let's turn the page. People talk, but we don't hear. Play the game, leave the fear. No more fuss, let's just play. We live the fun, come what may. Genshin's our world, where we're free. Let them shout, let them cry, but what we say, Genshin, baby, yeah. It's okay to play, it's okay to play, it's not real life. Jump into the game, leave behind the strife. It's okay to play, no need to fight. Genshin's a vibe, it's all alright. It's okay to play, we're just fine. No hate, no stress, we're in our prime. Hey, 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 hey. Let's go! Hey, 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 hey. It's okay to play. Hey, 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 we game all day. Hey, 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 hey. It's okay to play. Hey, 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 we game all day. Gotcha, baby. Hey, hey, baby.
You're listening to Bounding Radio, the beating heart of entertainment and information.
Burn, bang, baby, burn. Why you slip out the back? Should've had the guts, but you lacked the knack. Now we're left with a game that's nothing but whack. And you got your getaway in a Cadillac. Hey, hey, skip down when the chip's down. Board the train, you've lost your fame. You're stranded here, loyalty's long gone. You're just spinning in the eye of the storm. The floor's on fire, jump from the pot as the flames get higher, higher and higher. Refuse to fix the mess, gonna keep the regret, the regret, the regret. Baby, the floor's on fire, jump from the pot as the flames get higher, higher and higher. The floor's on fire, jump from the pot as the flames get higher, higher and higher. Said bigger, better, but you missed the mark. Left devs panicking, swimming with the sharks. You hyped it up big, said it'd break new ground, but now you're watching stocks crash all around. The floor's on fire, jump from the pot as the flames get higher, higher and higher. Refuse to fix the mess, gonna keep the regret, the regret, the regret. Baby, the floor's on fire, jump from the pot as the flames get higher, higher and higher. The floor's on fire, jump from the pot as the flames get higher, higher and higher. The floor's on fire, but you're long gone, leaving devs to play a tired swan song. Could've made it right, but you don't belong. You skipped out while they burned, but you played it wrong. You promised the moon, but did no play. Told the devs to fake it, and ran away. And ran away. Yo. Yo. Kathleen Kennedy, legacy in flames. Burned down prophets just to chase them names. You took a gold mine, turned it into dust. Force-fed agendas, now you lost the trust. Leslie Headland thought you had the juice, but we saw through that. All smoke, no truth. I'm an Alice Stanberg, your acting's a joke. Tried to play a lead, but you barely even spoke. Bad actors cried, they were forced to see us as human beings. But the real fans knew we ain't believing things. Tried to change the script, but we flipped the page. Now acolytes cancel, welcome to the rage. Spoke truth to power, cut them down to size. No more fake heroes, we see through the lies. Spoke truth to power, hit them with the facts. Now the real ones rise, ain't no coming back. You played with legends, now the legacy's torn. Should've kept the force pure, now it's battle worn. Every move you made, like a saber's glitch. Now the fans united, you can't scratch that itch. Kennedy, you had the throne, but you blew the crown. Now you sitting in the ruins of a broken town. Acolytes dead, couldn't stand the test. Bounding in the heavy hitters, laid it to rest. See, we came in strong, no room for fake. Brought the heat so real, made the empire quake. Disney playing games, but they out of moves. We rolled deep with truth, never needed no proof. Spoke truth to power, cut them down to size. No more fake heroes, we see through the lies. Spoke truth to power, hit them with the facts. Now the real ones rise, ain't no coming back. From the streets to the boardrooms, we got the clout. No more pandering, y'all better watch out. The force ain't for sale, it's a legacy thing. Now we taking it back, let the real ones sing. Kennedy headland, you played your last hand, but the house always wins, now you understand. The saga ain't yours, it's for the true fans who kept it alive, even when it was banned. Bounder knew the game, so Snyder brought the heat. No retreat, no surrender, just this raw beat. Acolytes done, now we rise from the dust. Can't kill the force, it's in the truth we trust. Spoke truth to power, cut them down to size. No more fake heroes, we see through the lies. Spoke truth to power, hit them with the facts. Now the real ones rise, ain't no coming back. Spoke truth to power, cut them down to size. No more fake heroes, we see through the lies. Spoke truth to power, hit them with the facts. Now the real ones rise, ain't no coming back. Fingers saying it's not on you. 8 years down the drain, but you acting like it's on. Yeah, you want a deep flex when the heat's on. Put it thick as any blade, give us like a pawn. You built the design, now it's crashing down. What's respect, lost the crowd. You could've fought, you could've owned it. Instead you ran it, left it broken. Now you're hiding, can take the heat, but don't pretend it's on repeat. Why'd you have to go make it so complicated? You act like it's their fault when it's your choices that faded. You could've stood tall, but you played the blame game. Now everyone sees through your shame, but why'd you make it so complicated? Canada suits, calling them fools, but you through those ugly lines too. Now you're crying, shouting that you quit, but we see the truth, we see through you. You talk a big game, but you never took a stand. Now the studio's lost and the blame's in your hands. Quit it if you want, we'll remember this fall, but you didn't even try to stand tall. You could've fought, you could've owned it. Instead you ran it, left it broken. Now you're hiding, can take the heat, but don't pretend it's on repeat. Why'd you have to go make it so complicated? You act like it's their fault when it's your choices that faded. You could've stood tall, but you played the blame game. Now everyone sees through your shame, but why'd you make it so complicated? Why'd you make it so complicated? But you played the blame game. Now everyone sees through your shame. Oh, why'd you make it so complicated? Oh, why'd you make it so complicated? Oh, why'd you make it so complicated? Cheering here, you can try to sell it, yeah, you can pretend, but news ain't news when you're buying friends. You're paying off trash just to get these trends. That's not love, it's just bought out friends. Yeah, your hype's manufactured, yeah, it's also clear. We're laughing at you, but you can't hear. You can write the headlines, try to make amends, but news ain't news when you're buying friends. Because you bought your friends, that's pretty cringe. When nobody wanted your game, you panic again. Hey, bought your friends, high score. Honest players, yeah, we know what's real. And no amount of dollars changes how we feel. Because you bought your friends, that's pretty cringe. When nobody wanted your game, you panicked again. You bought your friends, that's pretty cringe. You see through the lies, but you still pretend. You bought your friends, that's pretty cringe. No one in Japan's even giving you a glance. You bought your friends, that's pretty cringe. Must be nice to buy a little fake romance. Can't buy the love, you can't buy the fans. We see it all, don't you understand? Bought your friends, yeah, you bought your friends. You can try, but you can't buy this last chance. Chance. This scene is YouTube gold. Jimmy, your game was too bold. Took their stuff, now it's a mess. Now you got some lawsuits to address. He's flexing, stressing, thinking he's on top of the scene. But those stolen panties are kinda rogue, if you know what I mean. Woo! You thought you could hide it, but now it's all clear. Stole some briefs, broke some bones, now it's time to get on. Going down, it's your time to pay. Jimmy, you're in the hot seat today. Hey, girls down, where's my stuff? Yeah. Boys saying that's enough. Jimmy, it's getting rough. Is this lawsuit's calling your bluff? Can't hide, no, can't fake it. Your scandals, we won't take it. It's getting real scuzzy, can't shake it. Now the world's ready to break it. Come on, Jimmy, was it worth it? Come on, Jimmy, was it worth it? This YouTube king's gone too far. Jimmy thought he's a star. Grab some briefs, grab some bras. Now he's facing legal scars. He's flexing, messing, thought he had it locked. But now he's sweating, cause he's getting rocked. It's too hot for clothes on. Underwear vanishing, it's a crazy plan. It's too hot. And his friends pees while he's sitting down. It's too hot. Say my name, this thing is out of hand. It's too hot. Court's in session, it's going down. Jimmy, you knew this was wrong. Hey, girls down, where's my stuff? Yeah. Boys saying that's enough. Jimmy, it's getting rough. Is this lawsuit's calling your bluff? Can't hide, no, can't fake it. Your scandals, we won't take it. It's getting real funky, can't shake it. Now the world's ready to break it. Don't believe what you see, watch out. Don't believe what you see, watch out. You thought you want it all, but now you're gonna fall. Things all wild, but we see it all. Mr. Peace, you're about to crawl. Hey, girl, shout, where's my stuff? Boys saying that's enough. Jimmy, it's getting rough, cause this lawsuit's calling your bluff. Can't hide, no, can't fake it. Your scandals, we won't take it. It's getting real funky, can't shake it. Now the world's ready to break it. from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. Wide awake from the sleep, lessons of the past on repeat. The black shirt's coming, start running, running. The black shirt's coming, start running, running. The black shirt's coming, start running, running. We rise up, can't break us down. Black shirt, we wear the crown. Worldwide, sun up to sundown. Black shirt, we wear the crown. We rise up, can't break us down. Black shirt, we wear the crown. Worldwide, sun up to sundown. Black shirt, we wear the crown. We wear the crown. We wear the crown. We wear the crown. We wear the black shirt's coming, stop running, running. The black shirt's coming, stop running, running. The black shirt's coming, stop running, running. The black shirt's coming, stop running, running.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next product.
Wasn't that fun, huh?
Hey,
Yeah.
we're all
We're all
here.
Yo.
Yeah. How
What
about
is
that?
today? Welcome to late Wednesday.
Really?
Yeah.
Really,
So
really late
we just
Wednesday.
we just moved 01 to Saturdays and didn't tell anyone. So this is hey guys, how you doing?
Surprise! Yeah, exactly.
And Spencer, you're pulling from the wrong mic.
Am I? Okay. One
Yep, that's a webcam mic.
Once
So-
a J Brone, always a J Brone.
Always a boomer.
But as you can see by the icon right next to Spencer's head, this is 20,000 subscriber special. Thank you so much for everyone who, and he left. Neat. So, you just point out.
And
an
now you're
icon.
wondering how the hell did this channel make it to 20,000?
But before we get too far, I do want to acknowledge that Mr. Trent built most of the audience here. We've only carried it over the
Yes.
20,000 line, so I just want to make it clear that, yeah, Mr. Trent built most of the audience here. So thank you for staying on with us through the transition as this taking on a whole new spirit here at Bounding. We appreciate you being on with us, and he left again. Okay, so yeah, it's called 02 now.
Yeah.
Ground
hey,
Zero
20
Saturdays.
20,000. That's not too bad for a channel that's supposed to die in 6 months. So, I mean, hey, we're
Yeah,
here.
right. We're special like that, you know.
Mhm.
We're special. Spencer's back.
Yeah, I don't know how we made
Take 4.
without John. Like, yeah, clearly I know what I'm doing over here with my or,
No.
Okay. But yeah, we've made it to 20,000. It's because of you folks here. Of course, we have the chat regulars showing up here with Leslie Tarkin. Someone's been here all
Leslie!
along. We have Hey, It's Me in HD. We have
Hey,
our good friend, the eccentric banana, the most eccentric banana on the internet that I know.
look at everybody turning out on a Saturday. Generally,
Yeah,
This is
right?
pretty. I'm pretty stoked on this. What's up, guys?
Yeah, welcome aboard. We got JEC. Yeah, welcome aboard. Yeah, we got it over the line. Over 20,000. You bet. All right.
And honestly, no, we got to give like a lot of the credit to you, Cider. You're the one who, in the like recent months, like you've blown it out. You blew out all the videos. Like you've been doing amazing coverage. You took the production of the live streams to another level. Like this is as much a celebration of you as it is the channel, man. Like congratulations, good job. Whatever kudos is appropriate.
Welcome aboard, True Detective. Thank you very much, though, Spencer. It has been pretty fun, especially now that I've stumbled upon the AI music generator. Everything you heard
Yes.
here was made by a robot. I fed in some lyrics and just kept pulling the lever until I finally got something groovy enough. So, Jacob didn't get the memo because I forgot to tell everybody. Nerdigans just thankfully wore a black shirt today. I did tell Spencer that we were going to do the black shirt gimmick because guess what? I thought about this, and you've got Hypnotic has the bigot army, and you've got all these other guys that assign like an identity to the chat. So I was like, I don't really know what we can't call them the Bounders. That seems a little strange. So I decided to do the black shirts. So that's what
I
you
like
do.
it.
If you want to be part of our gang, you wear a black shirt. It's that simple. Jacob didn't get the memo, otherwise he would.
We all look like we're about to sip lattes outside of some like bougie coffee shop outside.
Programmers.
I was outside of a hipster coffee shop recently, and I heard.
We look like a group of programmers, to be honest with you. Like we just walked out of a game dev studio.
Yep. I mean, yeah, given what the games have been pitched to people these days, we can't be that much worse, right?
What are
Right.
your pronouns, please?
Yeah. Begin with those.
Here's the title of my game. It's called Shut Up and Shoot. Basically, what you do is that you sit down, you shut up, and you shoot things.
That would probably do. I would buy that game in a heartbeat. It's like that new game that's coming out where it's you like travel back in time to medieval times, but you have like a truck and a gun. So you just go and you mow everybody.
All you have to do is just get some protagonist who's like, in his mid-40s, some rugged white protagonist. Give him a gun and have him shoot things, and then you can get like little upgrades where you can get like little star gun cases and stuff like that.
They're making a movie series,
Sounds like
all
a
right? So
video game.
get Glenn Powell, right? And just put him in like knight's armor and a cowboy hat. Set him in the middle of a European landscape that looks like the Old West, but with European stuff all over the place and French people. And then just have him go nuts. And he finds like floating health packs, and he's like, "How is this?" He can't think about it. He's got no time. Floating health pack. Okay, I feel better now. And he just doesn't realize he's in a video game. He's just a dude bringing justice to the Old West in Europe.
Okay,
See, I don't know about.
Isekai.
it does.
Perfect. Have him get hit by a truck and he wakes up like that,
It's truck
What did you
con.
say, Jacob?
American
I don't know about
Isekai,
what?
yeah.
I don't know about Glenn Powell though. He's a little too big of a sissy Mary for me. I need someone a bit more rugged. I need someone more like a Jeffrey D. Morgan to be, the head protagonist of that game. That way you can just give him a bunch of sound bites for like whatever he like trips and falls or like hits things. Just record him and a couple of lines like "booyah," something like that. You know what I mean?
That's really all you need. But like the
Merciless.
premise there does worry me, Cider. We would have to flesh it out because being in a video game and not knowing you're in a video game and having to like live and survive, that's the plot to Gamer. And that movie is kind of one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Exactly.
Kind of questionable.
Well, it's kind of the plot to Soul Leveling in a way too. Now that I
It
think
is.
about it.
It's all of these, but at least
It's the
like,
Isekai.
in Gamer, I just remember the thing that always sticks out to me is there's a scene where he's trying to get across the battlefield and he sees a car, and so he chugs a bunch of vodka, runs across the battlefield, and then throws the vodka up into the car, and that's enough alcohol or ethanol for the car to start and drive for like 40 miles. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in a movie.
Yep. You could just do that. You could just go buy vodka and put that in your car, and it just goes. The government doesn't want you to know.
Damn it! I was gonna say that exact joke. Like the government doesn't want you to know free energy in vodka. This is why they
the
don't-
Russians
Big
do it all the
alcohol
time.
is trying to protect you from the truth.
Vlad, we need powder source and also alcohol. What do? I have
that's-
solution. Potato.
They're just gonna steamroll across. Like as soon as we know how to fuelinize instead of weaponize, like fuelinize vodka, the Russians will be unstoppable.
I mean, then again, there's some Southerners out there making moonshine. If they make a bad batch, they will unironically fuel a car with the batch of moonshine that they make in the woods.
See, I learned that from the Dukes of Hazzard. There's an episode where they run the General Lee on moonshine and outrun the police as usual. So I was like, wow, alternative fuels. How about that?
Like you can go blind from drinking that the Appalachian moonshine.
You got to make it right. If you make it wrong, then there's a lot of things that can go wrong. Like you might unironically make gasoline, which is probably why it's illegal in the first place. Because they don't want you to know.
They don't want you to know.
It all leads
Hey,
back to that fact that
unironically,
they don't want you to
corn
know.
is a huge source of moonshine, so there may be something to that. It's like, oh my god, the rednecks inadvertently made E85. It's like, what we're gonna do?
Exactly. 123 neatgastrick.com.
Oh, God.
Neathillbillytrick.com. Oh yeah.
So
But we
I mean,
saw
if that's the
energy.
case, I was gonna say if that's the case, then Michael Jordan must be really in the moonshine lately. We've seen photos of him floating on.
He's quite a fellow there. But
He looked like he hasn't slept since he left the Bulls.
You had to be alive for 90s basketball to know what that means. Jacob reminded me of two best friends play the Charles Barkley Ninja Gaiden, the Ultimate Dunk.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up and dunk. That's the subtitle of it. Look, it all comes full circle.
But yeah, no. It's the whole. It's like the RPG Maker version of it, where you go around and like it's like a dystopic future where Michael Jordan killed the other basketball players when basketball was banned after Charles Barkley accidentally released the chaos dunk into the world.
Oh, God.
The Injustice version of Space Jam.
It's literally an alternate universe. It's literally an alternate universe where Michael Jordan became Mr. X from Streets of Rage.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
His domain now.
And you're, of course, so you have like Charles Barkley, and he's got this basketball that's a soccer ball because they didn't have a basketball icon in RPG Maker. So he's killing like refs that are styled like the Final Fantasy genie, and like basketballs that have spider legs poking out from them and stuff like that.
Isn't it free to get that? I think that game.
Oh yeah, it's like old. It's like
go grab it if you guys want. It's really, it's ridiculous.
It's a really great, really great little piece of history there. But the best thing, in my opinion, about that whole thing was that you could, if you smoked marijuana, it would cure your cataracts. It would cure your cataracts. So.
Real
that
life.
was hilarious. Yeah, well, no, it was one of the afflictions of the samurai guy that was traveling with Charles Barkley, is that he periodically would be hurt by his cataracts and have to smoke a reefer in order to gain his health back. But you know who needs to smoke a reefer? Whoever gave $400 million to Concord. All right, that's quite
okay. I don't even know how this happens. This is like I'm stunned. You guys can tell. I don't even know what to say about it. So for those of you who haven't seen the news lately, this was coming out of Colin Moriarty over at Sacred Symbols. He's a former IGN reporter, so he has a bunch of industry contacts. He is staking his reputation on the fact that this dev he supposedly talked to is a dev. He knows them. He verified them. So I'm giving it a pretty big leeway. But according to Colin's source, this game, Concord, was the equivalent of when a gambler goes to Vegas and they sit down at a table and they just keep losing, but they go, oh, no, don't worry. Like, I got to hit next time. I've got to hit next time. Like, I've got to do it. So essentially, the breakdown is this game initially cost about $200,000 to develop. So that got it to about 8 months ago, 8 months to release. It cost them about $200,000 to get the game into a state that was reportedly not great. It was still broken. It was still ugly. It was still just not a great game. So instead of delaying the game and, taking a step back or doing anything whatsoever, according to the dev, Sony's higher ups just threw more money at it and said, here, have more money and that'll fix the problem, to the point where they doubled the freaking budget. And apparently it came in at $400,000 when all is said and done. Right. And that was
only the trips to Red Lobster they got on per diem.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And like, what makes this even more insane is that when we talk about movies that bomb or TV shows or something, right, they at least, we still see that they get couple thousand viewers, maybe 1 million or so viewers. Even The Acolyte got 1 million or 2 million viewers on its first episodes. So they make a little bit of money. It's not, don't get me wrong, they're not winners by any means, but you get maybe an eighth of your investment back. Maybe. Obviously that's got to go back to, paying other bills and stuff. So it's not profit, but it's money that came in. With this game, remember, they issued automatic refunds if you bought this game digitally. Everybody gets a refund, whether you got it physically or digitally. Digitally, it went automatic. So if you bought it on the PlayStation Store, auto refund. If you bought it on Steam, auto refund. If you bought it through physical, you would have to go to the retailers, so GameStop, Best Buy, Target, and go through their process. So you basically do the return with them, then they take it to Sony and they get the money back for their store. So in the end, obviously not everybody who bought the physical is going to go get that refund, right? Some people are lazy, some people are going to forget, some people aren't going to care about getting $60 back. So in the end, maybe at best this game keeps, and remember, according to reports and sales estimates, this thing only sold 25,000 total copies, digital and physical. So at best, let's say a couple dozen people maybe didn't get their refunds. At $40 a pop, you're looking at what is that, like $500, maybe $600, which you guys get to hold on to. But it's still a fund that people could go pull from and say, oh yeah, I'm coming for my refund now, can I grab it? And B, $500 compared to $400 million, that's
Right.
like getting like that's going to the table at Vegas, refusing to get up, refusing to go play another game. You know, you go to Vegas, you pull out your initial like money I'm going to bet with, you lose it, and instead of going to a different table, doing anything different, maybe saying I'm going to cool it, maybe I got to, you know, think about how I'm playing, you just go, get me more money, I know it's going to win. Right? And it clearly did not. I can't, this thing costs more than Age of Ultron. This thing costs more than Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which was infamously what was it? That was like $390 or $390 million. 390 is what it pulled in at the box office, but 390 million is what it like costs. Like, this is such something is wrong up at the top of all these companies, right? Because I've been saying this too.
Well, wait, Spencer, hold on.
Go ahead. Yeah.
We've got Words of Paradise here, right? All right.
Hey,
and now he wants to
Yay!
Leon wants to let us know that is a horrible example. You have way better odds in Vegas.
I was gonna say, like, this is more of an example of someone who's like losing horribly at the Vegas table, and then you start seeing like the security like start to corral around him because you know at some point he's gonna try to run. You have to like get in position before you take off.
Lock the doors.
Yeah.
No, that's actually a way better analogy, right? But like $400,000, I don't understand how we got
400
here.
million.
They wish it was only 400,000.
Yeah, I know.
There's a lot more money than 400,000. That's for sure.
Yeah,
like,
that was catering.
My brain doesn't even want to register it. My brain just says like it's
does not compute.
It's like, look,
yeah, exactly. You guys can tell. Does not compute is running through my head this entire time.
Well, the other thing about.
Go ahead.
But they also said that doesn't include Sony buying the studio, which is another 100 million too, from what I read. So this is like at least $500 million, and that costs even more than Spider-Man. Yeah, this is more than Spider-Man. It's crazy.
Look, I've never
expensive at 250.
I never really bought into the whole like commie like argument of like when someone like Elon Musk like buys Twitter, it'd be like, oh, $60 million, you know what you could have spent with that much money? It's like, but now I look at what these companies are doing with these projects, whether it's this game or spending $200 million on the Acolyte or spending $210 on She-Hulk. I think to myself, do you know literally what you could have done with that money that you literally just wasted? Like, you know, like people like,
even if we wanted to, like, we can play on their side, right? You could have produced 80 million low budget horror movies and made zillions of dollars for what you spent on this movie. Like, this is absolutely bonkers.
Movie.
Or what did I say? Yeah,
well, imagine
you're right.
Oh, video game. Well, they wanted it to be a movie. They thought it was going to be their Star Wars. They literally thought internally they were referring to Concord as Sony's Star Wars. You know, in the way that it was going to be a multimedia experience that you would go and you would see them in movies and comic books and animated stuff in the video game. And
let me put it to you from this perspective here. Take that same $400 million, right? And imagine if someone had did something like the Blumfield method, the Blumfield productions, where they basically just make like really cheap films for like $5 million. Imagine if you had taken that same amount of money and put it into making like mini budgets for $5 million films. You could have produced 80 films, 80 feature-length movies with the same amount of money that they wasted on Concord alone.
So,
or just like a zillion other different games. Like this is so bonkers to me. Or what were you gonna say, Nerdigan? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
But this was the wrong approach to do it, because looking at this game, and a lot of people said this too, this was Overwatch. They should have just went into this
Correct.
thinking, okay, we should make this be our Overwatch, not our Star Wars. That was so stupid.
Well, they did that because here's the thing, okay? So part of this 400 million was creating animatics, was buying a place in Amazon's Game Over, whatever the hell their new
Whatever
next
that
level,
thing
whatever
yeah.
that thing is from Amazon. There is a what are we talking about? Concord. There is a Concord episode in this Amazon series coming out from the same people that made Love, Death, and Robots, okay? So there's going to be like this unearthly, like, surrealism as you watch yet another multi-million-dollar episode play out about something that made it less than 15 days.
8 years, 8 days. Love it.
Yeah, and the thing that gets me about this whole thing with Star Wars, right, is that they had these animatics where they introduced everybody. It's a I'm not trying to take a dig at Eric July. He is an indie guy that's in Texas. He is not in Hollywood. He's not in the guts of DC, Washington DC, trying to get all this money. He's an independent guy. But the animatics that they created for Concord were at Eric July's level. Again, that's not a dig at him. He's an indie. They got Sony money. They got 400 million behind them, and they put out animatics that look like that. Right. That's more money than Disney spent on Star Wars anime, okay? That's more money they spent on the lightsaber umbrella. So consider for a minute, too, that in this whole run-up, in this whole creation that they did, we can watch the opening trailer to this if you want to. I have it downloaded, so I play it from the computer. I don't know if we'll get hit, but I don't know what they're claiming. It's not like it's out there to be seen.
Do they really care anymore? Are they gonna
I don't know. Word on the tweet streets is that they're working on a free-to-play version of Concord, but I'm like, for who? It's a laughing stock. You bring it back, it's going to get more beast.
That's another thing that the dev said is that there was when they ended Concord, the games director made this big long post, and he came out and he said basically, games suck, like we failed, we got to refund you, blah blah blah. But we're going to have meetings and we're going to talk about the best way forward. And apparently there is no way forward. Everybody figures they're about to get fired. Everybody thinks they're going to be shuttled out to work on, provide support for Naughty Dog and Insomniac and all of those fun things. So this thing, and did we talk about this on this show? I think you and I talked about it, Cider. But like, that would bring into question, if they do that, if they want to bring it back free to play, then they can't scrap it for any sort of tax rebate. They would have to still then eat everything, which is just, I don't know if they can survive that. I don't think a free to play thing would be worth what they would have to experience if they did that.
This is just what they put 400 million in it. And so when people out there, they're like, oh, I'm in their Discord and they're talking about it. They're working on it right now on the Steam store. You can see their updates that they're doing something to it. I'm not sure what they're up to, but there have been 4 updates in the last 22 hours over on the Steam store on the Concord page. It doesn't tell you what they are. It just features a number.
They put more money behind this than Marvel put in the end game.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's more than any. It's more than any Marvel movie. It's like that. That's where I go to, is that the budgets of everything nowadays are bonkers, and something needs to be looked at, because even if you were like we know that BlackRock and Vanguard and all these things have their hands in funding all of the big companies nowadays. However, we're at the point where even if you believe that the shadow cabal that is them, that we know exists, controlled everything and funded everything, they've got to be looking at the red and going, okay, guys, our secret world domination plan, that's a lot of red. I don't know if we're going to make it through the next quarter. We got to step back into something. So
anything else?
Is it money laundering? Is it just mismanagement? It's
mismanagement.
There's got to be something, because for example, Nerdigans, one of there's something I've been laughing about the last couple weeks is so we all know that Rian Johnson is doing the Glass Onion stuff over at Netflix, right? I forget what the first one. Oh, Knives Out, Glass Onion.
The spin-off stuff.
Yeah, the spin-offs.
Yeah. So that first movie was about 20 million in budget, right? Which makes a little bit of sense. You had a lot of big actors. It was a long film, yada yada yada, on location. Then the second movie was about $40 million, which, okay, you had a way bigger cast. You were on another location. I can see where the money is in that. This next one, the third one, the budget's ballooned to $150 million for a Glass Onion, Knives Out murder mystery story.
Yep.
What the hell is going on there? That to me makes me believe there's money laundering going on. And then on the other hand, I have to go, good job, Ryan. You're taking Netflix for a ride. Get your bag. I can't even be mad about it. They deserve it.
I wonder what it pays to be a corporate accountant, because essentially your entire job is to make it seem like your company is not clearly embezzling funds. It's like,
your entire job
You're a
is
bookie.
burying everything.
Exactly.
That's what you
Like
are.
your
You're a
entire-
mafia bookie.
Your entire existence is just cooking our books.
That's it. That's it. And again, like in order to be an accountant for Netflix, I'm pretty sure you have to be strapped. You have to be ready at all times to be gunned down in the street. You're like a higher target than the president. You know what I mean?
Your first
sure.
day at the job,
Like
you're all
the
perky
budget,
and happy, and then like literally like an hour after looking into the books, you're drinking at the bar because you realize, oh my god, I'm literally going to
Netflix
get
bar.
killed with the
It's built into the
Netflix.
accounting office. They just built what they knew.
If I tell anyone about what I know, I'm literally going to get shot.
I don't know. That makes me think of like a really haggard, like 50-year-old accountant, like somewhere there. He's in a bar taking a drink. The studio execs walk in. They're like, "We need you for one last job." And it's like, "Damn it! I thought I was out of that game."
Yep.
Right, it's like an accountant John Wick, and it's just a bunch of action shots of him doing math. You know,
It's
that's
like
it. There's no fighting. It's just him doing math aggressively and then like slamming his hands against the whiteboard. Like, it doesn't work.
It's
It doesn't work.
literally-
You're gonna know.
It's just literally just like a time lapse of like him like looking at the numbers, and then just like the slow realization on his face. Then meanwhile, like Flight of the Valkyries is playing slowly in the background. He's
like-
just realizing how terrible it's
But
actually.
like the down tempo, melancholy, like delayed reverb version. So
Yeah.
with a little bit of a hip hop snare background on it.
You know, it starts out light to go in there, and then it's go do 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 do, and then he's like his face just like slowly goes.
It's one of those perspective shifts where they change the lens mid shot, so like his face widens out as he realizes. Oh
And then,
no!
and then he starts thinking, it's like, oh my god, I just moved my kids to that new school, and now
Yeah. I gotta
Do they
get a
have
job,
armed
cut them
guards at
out.
the school? Speaking of armed guards, though, back to Concord, I made this suggestion in the last video. I honestly think Sony already has agreements with LEGO to put out LEGO content. So why not go and revive the Bionicles and reskin reskin Concord, the not Fortnite, reskin Concord to be a Bionicle revival. You don't have to worry about toys now. You just make it 3D models. They beat the hell out of each other. They fall apart, and you can have your adversary either take your parts or your allies reassemble you as a way of, lifting you up or reviving you.
I actually think that's pretty smart because from everything we've all read and heard, the core fundamentals of the video game part of Concord were solid, right? Like
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's
right,
what
like controls, yeah.
Yeah, that's what because I know people don't like David Jaffe for his politics, but his analysis on the industry itself has actually been pretty decent. And what he said was the controls and the game itself were good. It was the activism. I can't believe he even said it. The activism and the other bullshit.
I'm surprised
was
he did
just
say that.
bad.
Like, he always cries about you guys
Like woke
are being
stuff.
racist. Yeah, he's always the anti.
Yeah, but he said, he straight up said that.
Surprising.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I was surprised he said this. He straight up said, he's like, you guys need to put your activism shit at the door because the controls and everything are fine. It's just, we just want a good game. We don't want this crap. I was so surprised he said this.
Now, we did find out, though, from what Colin Moriarty was able to tell us, is that functionality only happened after Sony dumped another $200 million into the project already.
Yeah.
Because when they got a hold of it, it wasn't even ready for alpha state. Now, if you're not familiar with what alpha state is, this is the just before market state of a game where there's really not anything left wrong with it, but you're playing it to break it over and over and over again to find things wrong with it. And that's the alpha state. It's just about ready to go on the shelf. And so after 7 years and some odd amount of months, these people had not prepared a game that could go on the shelf. All right. Sony had to go in and hire not one, not two, not three, but four subcontractor dev studios to finish this game. You are looking at the better part of 300 people's effort to get
Right.
this thing ready.
And in case, like, I've seen a lot of people going 400 million. I don't know. That seems insane. And, you know, that's a rightful skepticism. But as Cider pointed this out to me earlier today.
Somebody.
If you go to the credits of the game, they're like an hour and 20 minutes long. That is not, there is nothing I've ever seen that has an hour and 20 minutes of credits. That means that that to me says that they just hired more people and hired more people and hired more people, because, and that to me is your smoking gun.
Yeah. Well, you know, we were asked a little earlier if we know who Smash JT is, and yep, we're very well aware of who Smash JT is. He's also out here covering this stuff, and he actually brought up this point that not only are the credits an hour and 23 minutes long, yep, they are also feature the co-workers. Lisa Brown required them to list her as Professor Brown, not Lisa Professor Brown. It's just Prof Brown. That's it. In this myriad of comment section, if you will.
Yeah, if you guys don't remember, this was, I believe she was a writer or a production producer of some point. She was making people call her the professor, like at work. And like, that's just cringe. I was telling Cider this earlier, like trying to force a nickname on people. Like, so there's all right, when you make a handle, right? When we made Cider, or we made Mav, or we made Nerdigans, or we made
They
Society
made me
Reviews,
in a tube,
right?
With a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water.
We have that's how we get all the video content out. We've got 7 of you cooking at any time. But that was more like, that was us going, oh, you can refer to me as that. Like, that's just something to refer to me as. Going like the professor and going out in public and going, you need to refer to me as this. This is who I am. It's so cringe. Like, that's the best word I have for it. But further than just taking it as this weird internal power play, she's listed in the credits as Prof Brown. And it's just like, I think that sort of puts a stamp on what this entire game was. It was just a wish fulfillment project for all the weirdest people. It is definitely how I would go. I mean, Colin Source also noted that there was a, quote, culture of toxic positivity going on around the studio, where you could not criticize anything, you could not push back on anything, whether it was a design, a piece of writing, a gameplay mechanic. You had to go, oh yeah, that's pretty good, we should move forward with that. And like, to me, that's another level of that activism, of that everybody should be special, everybody needs to be okay at every turn. That's how you get something like this. You had nobody there going, no, maybe you don't make the like giant black lady have a literal red flag on her shoulder, right? Like, nobody said anything. They all just said,
I like living in the world. I like living in the world where we like based our like character designs off like Tekken characters and like Street Fighter, rather than like wherever the hell this is.
This is activism taken to its like peak, right? Where they go, we need to make characters, but they can't offend anybody, so they're gonna sand off the edges of everything and make it the most safe.
The second I see this character design in a pitch meeting, I'm literally getting up and walking out the door like LeBron James when he left that press conference on one time.
Yes. No, you would think so, but for some reason they all thought, let's move forward with this. Cider, you mentioned the weekly vignettes that they were going to do. Like, every week the plan was, you're going to get a new cutscene that introduces you to all the team, and that's how you're going to love them and get to know them, yada yada. They only released 2 before the game shut down.
Whoops.
They are painful to get through. It is the saddest. Imagine if like Chuck Wendig tried to write Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what you get. It is it feels like a hello, fellow kids. Did you like Guardians of the Galaxy? It sucks to get through. It's so sad. Like, one of the characters at one point, I guess the reptile looking dude, he's like, maybe we should go do this
Lennox.
mission.
Oh, excuse me,
Lennox.
Budget Yandu.
Yeah, Budget Yandu. Thank you. And then the Asian
I call him
lady,
Bondu.
what was her name? Star Turd or something? I forget what you named her.
Which one?
Like
What do we?
the human Asian lady, the main one. The
Oh
one
yeah, unwed Asian auntie.
Yes, unwed Asian auntie. That's right. I remember. I forgot how much that one made me laugh. But she's like trying to get him to do a mission, and he's all skeptical. And she has like and so she goes, "You wouldn't want me to do anything with this?" And it's like a bottle of hot sauce that looks like sriracha. And the guy, Budget Yandu, is like, "No, okay, let's calm down. Let's all talk about this. We don't have to do anything rash." And I'm just like, "Oh, this is so painful. This is so written by a bunch of like out of touch 50-year-olds who don't know what they're doing." It's just a disaster through and through.
We don't need to go through and listen to the whole thing again because that would be annoying. But I do have. We could look at the character designs with their.
That's how the
appropriate
radio
names.
works.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, we're a little different here at Bounding Radio, I guess. So I gotta find which window it is here.
Oh yeah, did you see that BioWare is releasing like all these different I want to say like these radio shows for different characters of the Veil Guard for Dragon Age. It's
I've never gotten the radio
weird.
show promotion, right? Like, do people truly tune into that? I like.
Yeah, there
Who
are.
does a lot of them. It's so weird. I've never.
Here's the thing that I learned when I was
Like
working
branded
on how to do
podcasts?
this. Yeah, when I was learning about podcasts, because we got told this is a podcast now, so I was trying to figure out how do we podcastify a YouTube live stream. And they're not exactly the same beast. But the other situation is that we're looking at is that people are really engaged with this because what happens is who the hell wants to really sit here and watch us talk? Most people have it on in the background while they're working. And they pop in, they go,
Good, I
wow,
hope so.
$400 million, that's crazy. And they say something, and then they go back to making pizza or something, or build a house, who knows? But that's what most of that is that they left radio, like the actual, like, over-the-air radio, because it's just nothing but 123trick.com, Roslyn Gold, reminding you the world's collapsing today. Now you've got, like, Manscaped advertisements that'll interrupt your podcast occasionally, but they're not as aggressive as, like, come on down to Crazy Ed's Car Emporium. We've got everything you can think of down here for half off. It's a little less
With all the
aggressive.
bad,
than that.
like,
That joke is even
startup
funnier.
noises and stuff.
That joke is even funnier given our past reference to the film Used Cars. If you guys missed that old episode
Right.
from a few weeks back.
Yes.
But we'll take a look at the character designs here. So, this is Truckinator.
Mhm,
And
of
we
course it
have
is.
I renamed them because their real names are stupid. So I gave them much more memorable names. You're gonna remember
This is-
Truckinator.
This is WNBA player.
This is, Brittany
Sure, it's
Griner.
not like a woman's linebacker.
hmm This is gender swap Sang Soon.
No, exactly.
Mortal
Mortal Grandma.
Grandma.
It's Sindel.
This is Jack Black.
Black,
Oh,
no!
really?
Walking septic tank. You nailed it. Rejected Fortniter.
Yeah.
Ratchet Steampunk.
This is literally every black female protagonist of the last
Dude,
5 years.
Scout
like-
Lord.
We've all I know a lot of our viewers have probably seen these before. I know we're all having a good laugh, and we should keep going. But I want everybody to keep in mind now that toxic positivity angle, right? And you
Right.
can see how nobody said no to anything, and you can see how that went wrong in all of these character designs. This is the only mildly interesting one was the Bionicle, the cheese Bionicle.
The melted Bionicle, yeah.
Like this, that is straight up. Everybody said yes. Let's go for it.
There's Cam Newton.
Oh, that one's so bad.
Not Cam Newton.
we got Drax at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
They
the
bot.
they bot. That is 100% of they bot. Slimer.
Well, you see,
Yes,
I thought
my
about
favorite.
Squirter. and I was like, I
Yeah, it's probably not gonna
don't
go
think
over
you
very
can
well.
do that on YouTube. I think it's
No.
gonna notice that one.
What
And,
about the
Call her. You got to be very subtle. You got to call her Squirtle. That way, it's a double entendre.
I thought about it, but it wasn't there with the colors. Like Blastoise didn't feel right because she wasn't fat. So if they combined Muncha Luncha and Slimer, you could call that one Blastoise. But unfortunately, where it's kind of like a mannish, womanish looking personish thing, that's all I could think of was just Slimer. There's people that call it General Tupperware, but I was like, yeah.
No, I like Slimer better. Slimer works more with the color and all that stuff.
Yeah, it reminded
Way
me of
more
an
thematic.
Ecto Cooler box. That's all I could think of
Right,
was
yes,
Ecto Cooler when
exactly.
I looked at it. So I was like, okay, that's just Slimer now. But Unwed Asian Auntie is low key my favorite. I think
I
that
was gonna
character should be in the next Witcher game. If you're just going to sell these character designs out to some unfortunate idiot,
Well, like
sell that one.
that's what I was reminded of. The character model from DMC Devil May Cry of that
Yeah.
Dante. They sold him off to a Korean dentist like company, and now you can see Dante doing like brushing ads on Korean television out of nowhere.
Well, it's not, if you remember Dante, it's not really out of nowhere. It's like, yeah, no, I could see him doing that. Yeah. Child
So
of the
has
Underlord,
anyone so has anyone in the Concord universe come out with like the typical "this wasn't made for you" this $400 million money pit?
Before the game launched, yes.
Before, we haven't heard anything since. I don't think anybody has a leg to stand on since. Like this is they don't have allies from like even Kotaku thinks it's bad, even Polygon thinks it's bad. Nobody played this game. They have nobody on their side here. This is one of those very rare moments where everybody went together and went, "No, we don't want this."
They moved on to Dragon Age.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they've moved on to Dragon Age instead.
But
and hold on before I forget. In regards to Dragon Age, I had someone I saw someone say that their core, the Dragon Age's core fan base has always been the LGBT community, and I'm just like, what?
The online. So what Nerdigans is referring to is we have an article in the works right now on it from Jorge. Maybe it'll be up later today. Depends on if he can get it out. But essentially, the character creator for Dragon Age: The Veilguard has a bunch of extensive like customization options for like top surgery scars and other sort of like transgender surgery scars. So with that coming out, you've had the usual round of debate, but that's also sparked what Nerdigans is talking about, where you have the usual suspects coming out and going, "Oh, it was always for the gays, it was always for this." And what you're seeing, Nerdigans, is like that's a very common what do you call it? Like a revisionist history, because we're even seeing that with the recent discourse around Lollipop Chainsaw Repop. Where
we saw that with Bayonetta too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have a lot of people with Lollipop Chainsaw coming out going, because there was a bunch of concern about the physics engine messing up the jiggle physics on Juliet.
Yep.
A lot of people rightfully were like, "Oh, they censored it again." And you had the usual crowd coming out going, "Oh, you're just gooners. You just want to jerk off, blah, blah, blah." And then everybody went,
"Okay,
yeah,
bear
but that's
fucker."
the point. Right, exactly. And everybody went, that's the point of her character. And now you have the revision going, which is, oh no, she was always designed for the girl. She's a girl power icon. And what you're seeing is just a lot of times that narrative can never stick. So they always sort of try to revamp it. Like with Bayonetta, that was what they tried to do at first. Oh, she's gross and over-sexualized. Only gross men incels want to play with her. And then, A, the game was really good. And B, it came out that, oh, Bayonetta is designed by a woman. So it couldn't stick. So they sort of again, it's the thing I sort of always talk about, which is they will always say whatever it is in the moment to win that particular fight or that particular discussion, argument, and not care about literally anything that came before, because they're going, oh, they like Lollipop Chainsaw. We can't let them like Lollipop Chainsaw because it goes against what we preach or whatever. So no, it was actually ours all along. You guys are reading it wrong. That was the narrative the entire time. It's just about winning with them, with the online ideologue. We see it all the time.
Speaking of just winning, right? Here we have Eurogamer coming out here and saying one of the most foolish things I've seen in quite a while. You got Dragon Age: The Veilguard feels like the series Mass Effect 2 moment. And
maybe Mass Effect 3 or Andromeda.
Or Andromeda, Nerdigans.
The one with the spinny head, whichever one that one was, where his head is just whirling around there like it's on a top. But this is the other thing, okay? What I have to point out is just consider for a moment that Ubisoft put out, and I say it on purpose like that, okay, because I know it annoys people, especially them, because they're saying their name wrong. Back to the plot. So Ubisoft put out Odyssey. I believe it's called Odyssey, the one in France with disappearing faces. And that doesn't happen to these games with trans people. I just want you to like remember that as we go forward with these things. There's no disappearing faces in Dustborn. There's no characters just falling out of the map in Dustborn. But with the hetero characters, wow, you got good old Kay falling right through the world when you go riding around on her speeder. You're hanging around, a stormtrooper will just fly right into a map boundary and kamikaze himself right there in front of you.
Oh, that shit was so funny.
I'll offer a counter to that. That's not truly a counter, but sort of a slight curving of the bullet, if you will, with like Wanted. I think the reason all of these games, their graphics don't mess up like that is because to them, they're looking at the representation is the number one thing. So that's why when you see things like Dustborn or Veilguard, everything looks great because that's what they got to put forward. However, you crack into the gameplay or the script, and that's where everything falls apart because there's no substance past what they can visually throw out at you, which they can get all their tweets for. Like, I'm going to admit this is probably unpopular. The core style engine of Dustborn, what could probably have been really cool if used properly. It sort of feels like a less cartoony hi-fi Rush. They just used it on the dumbest possible product they ever could have made because they cared more about the representation. And look, you have a character with vitiligo or whatever that's called, and that's all they care about. They don't care if you have a good experience, just if it confirms their politic.
But you know what's funny is like, I do want to point this out because I've talked to other people about this yesterday or the other day, is that in the pursuit of pleasing trans people, they ended up becoming misogynistic. I'm talking about Dragon Age because you can't have big breasts and you can't have big ass. Like the max
I know,
size
it's really
I have that right here.
It's just so weird to me. It's like you want to be
easyable, identifiable, like feminine body part that actually belongs to a woman is not allowed.
You can't have that. So like people like me that have big breasts, we can't be represented. It's
nope. It is all itty bitty titty community here, baby.
So it's like, man,
you gotta go get a top surgery, Nerdigans, then you can be represented.
Well, apparently
Nerdigans, if you get top surgery, we will kick you off of the show permanently. I'm just letting you.
Why would I get? I'm not stupid. The director apparently is a trans. I'm a Jew. That's enough for a representation. But there's the director is like a trans woman, a trans queer woman. That's what from what I saw. So so as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, that probably explains a lot.
We have that around here somewhere.
Oh, you could have a bulge size. You can have a max bulge size. But your ass has to be flat for the max size, and your tits are like no more than a B cup.
You can have a butt, but you can have a monster package, and it's like I want all of it. Let me make a monstrosity that just maxes out everything.
I want to go full Diddy. I'm allowed to go full Diddy on this game.
Dude, just a quick Diddy side note, because I have you here, Jacob. Did you see the video like recorded by his security guard?
Oh yeah, that's been floating around for a little bit. So
has it? Okay, I just saw it like the.
I will say this. There was actually a video that I saw earlier today, which is very interesting because it's basically Diddy, which I'm assuming it's like maybe his grandson or like nephew, whatever case may be, a young child, and he's sitting there reading off a list of names of people who are supposed to be attending his birthday party. And in the context of the video, it seemingly looks like he's naming off a list of people who he knows that he has dirt on, and their names who you're not really that surprised to hear from given everything that's come out here. So it's kind of like, okay, if I go down, here's a list of all the people who are coming with me type things.
That's crazy.
So yeah, go ahead and check out that video because he lists a lot of names, and let's just say there's a lot of people going to be going down if Diddy isn't, Epstein in prison here.
That's what I was thinking.
Let me ask you this, Jacob, because you and I normally have the same thoughts here. Do you think, because clearly he's been doing this for a while, clearly, and you guys know you guys know the Diddy stuff, trafficking, abuse, all this stuff. You can go get a better breakdown from other places. We're just going to briefly touch on it because YouTube doesn't like it. But he's my headphone thing fell out. But he's clearly been doing this for years, and he now it's all coming down. Did he just fall out of favor with somebody? Did he piss off the wrong intelligent asset? Like, that's what I feel is going on.
What I feel the way this whole thing started, because he's been doing this for a while, so it's like clearly if they've let him get away with this for like almost 30 years, it's not specifically because he was getting dirt on people. My guess is because once you get to this kind of level of deception and thievery, that he probably had some information on people who were controlling him under the guise that, hey, if this thing ever goes south, I got stuff on you guys so that I'm not the only one who's going to go
point,
down
yeah.
when this whole thing comes apart, right? So
We
they
got
must have
breaking.
figured out what happened.
Power Ranger breaking, but go ahead, finish what
boy.
you're saying. Sorry.
I thought it was Diddy breaking. So that was
No, not
perfect
Diddy
timing.
breaking. You're not breaking Diddy news here. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
TMZ will kill us.
But I will say this: it feels like he had dirt on people who were controlling him, and then when they found out about that, that's when they sent the feds to his home. Because I really do believe that they sent feds to his house to recoup some of that so-called evidence that he had at his place. So that way, when the whole thing does blow
100%.
off,
Are
it
you
doesn't go
kidding me?
back to
That was
them.
my
Because
first thought.
like, here's the thing. You have to understand, in the grand scheme of things, the Hollywood celebrity gang is basically like small fish. It's right. If your favorite, singer or actor or something like that gets caught up in this, it is what it is. When you start talking about prime ministers, presidents, senators, congressmen, stuff like that, that's when people mysteriously end up dead, because that's the names that they don't want you to know about. That's when you start opening up the bigger piece of this onion.
And yet Corey Corey Feldman can keep making his music.
That terrible music. He'll keep touring with Limp Bizkit until the day he drops.
He's the
It's weird,
comeback
too.
kid forever.
Because he's like 60 years old, but he looks like Nerdigans. Just like so weird, just like looking at it. And he's doing like bad Michael Jackson dances too.
And he's wearing like bad, like Michael Jackson, like cosplay almost,
Yeah.
like leather jackets, fingerless gloves still.
It's like he walked into like the set of Bad 30 Years Too Late.
Yes. I'm here, guys. It's my time to shine. I've come back.
Where's everyone?
Jacob, remember, speaking of Michael Jackson real quick, Jacob, remember what Rolling Stone said about, I can't remember who it was off the top of my head. I think it was the guy from One Direction being like the new king of pop and replacing Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
They say that like every 3 years, somebody pays them $100,000 to run that headline, and it never.
They've been recycling that forever. Because Chris Brown was the next Michael Jackson until he beat Rihanna, and then it was Harry Styles, and then next thing you know, it was like Billie Eilish for some weird reason. It's like they just keep recycling that same over and over again.
No, but I bring it up because one of Michael Jackson's music videos on YouTube just hit 1 billion views, and then another one is about to hit 1 billion too. So it's like you keep Rolling Stone. You keep saying like
it took this long. That like
I'm surprised too.
Yeah, right. Because it's freaking Michael Jackson. That's really surprising.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why I'm like it's just funny that the Rolling Stones trying to push this narrative of someone being the next Michael Jackson. It's like no one's gonna be the next Michael Jackson. Till they get like I think it's like at least 3 or 4 songs now on YouTube have like 1 billion views of Michael Jackson songs anyway. So I'm like until you get another artist that hits like 1 billion views, like multiple tracks.
That's sort of the thing I was saying with like The Professor, right? Like you can't say I'm the new king of pop, I'm the best one. Like the people have to decide that. You got to show humility there, Professor.
So we also had Taylor Swift. She's 35, by the way, still pretending to be 18 and undecided about her marital preferences.
Yeah.
So just want to remind us all what we're dealing with celebrity right now. So Harry Styles is out, you got Diddy out there, and then you've got a political favorite, Taylor Swift, coming out and saying things. Now, what scares me about this particularly is that she ended her tour to come back to the United States, and I've been a proponent for a long time. Like, she ended her tour because that guy threatened her, right? But again, when you understand that he's like 14 years old that threatened her, so it's really strange to just like, okay, this kid online didn't like me because his girlfriend broke up with him and liked my music. I'm out. Bye.
Come on, man.
And
we see school shooters all the time.
I get it.
Out a teenager as being a threat.
I get it. There's a guy that blew up the Ariana Grande stadium, so I completely understand why they went behind it. But it just seems really
that
strange.
That was a terror cell, but I get to it.
Well,
yeah.
But it just seems really bizarre to take it like one of those things so seriously, considering I'm sure anywhere she goes, a ton of those show up. So it just seems odd that was the one. But the only reason why I call it strange is because Kamala started like really having a hard time. She didn't have any policy out of the gate. So then comes Taylor Swift to start talking about other things to keep the populace of single white women, not Spencer, the single white women in this country thinking about things that aren't political.
I count.
So,
No, you don't.
And then, so this is the thing, is that I thought for a long time that they were going to have Michelle and Taylor run together. That it was going to be Obama Swift 2024. That's what I thought we were going to deal with.
Everybody says that everybody thinks like, oh, they're going to run Michelle. I don't think everybody.
No,
I
don't think
politically brained is too. They overemphasize what kind of sway these people have. Right? Yes, Taylor Swift came back and she endorsed Kamala, but at the end of the day, she's a celebrity. She's not moving the needle except among people who are like 13 and 14, and they can't vote anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that they need to have somebody like The Rock or Taylor Swift run for office because, in all honesty, they've done a good enough job over the last 2 decades turning politicians to that cult of personality. I mean, I said, that the best 2 examples of that over the last 2 decades have been both Barack Obama and Donald Trump. They both represent 2 sides of the political plane, but they're basically both celebrities in their own right within their own 100%. People. So it's like, as long as you can get, that cult of personality out of some, hand-picked politician behind the scenes, like it works the same way. Then all you need is like the dancing puppets. They'd be like, oh yeah, I support this person. Ooh.
I didn't think Pharrell Williams was going to be the guy, but he's the guy. And he just stepped out and he said, you know what? Shut up. Nobody asked you what you thought about politics. And I'm like, dude, make that into a song. Run that. Make that your label. Make Nobody Asked, like a shirt that you wear everywhere you go, man. Like Vote or Die. Make that your thing. Nobody asked.
No, don't give him merch ideas. We should have a Nobody Asked about your politics. Like,
Nobody asked about you.
That's our merch idea. Everybody, YouTube, delete this segment of the stream. Nobody gets to see it.
Forget I said that.
Yeah, Pharrell's one of those people who probably should lay low for a while with some of the headlines that are out there right now. If you guys know where I'm leading towards, so probably not make any profound statements for a while.
All of them should just chill out for a little while.
Yeah, because there's some other stories that are going around there about some other people that are associated with that being Will Smith and some of those other people. It's like, yeah, you all should collectively just lay low for a little bit.
Well, and
it's God's gift to acting.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of whatever, we got Power Ranger news. So here it is.
That's what I thought we were breaking.
This is the first look at official posters for the canceled 2015 Power Rangers Origin animated films.
Thank God.
You'll notice right off the bat that it looks very Voltron-y. That Voltron revival looks really
awful.
Yeah. It's almost as bad as the one that was in the live action movie. And so this was by Saban, by the way. This is not Hasbro. All right.
Can we get something with like Kaku Ranger or something like that? I was like, I get Mighty Morphin marks are like out there. You do realize there are like more series than like Mighty Morphin, right?
28, in fact. 28 different teams.
I think that's 28 since Mighty Morphin. That's not even going back to the ones that happened like before Mighty, but the ones that predate. It's like, when is somebody gonna like? Honestly, that would actually be a pretty cool like project if you wanted to do. Go all the way back to like the 1970s and do kind of like a modern retro take on like Jetman or something like that, right?
That'd be sick.
That would be awesome. I would be up for that. But no.
Of course, there's the fade going on with the Black Ranger. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, sure.
Well,
whatever.
So apparently, what I can derive from what we're looking right here doing my Cider Predict superpower.
I don't know what this one means.
He's gay, and he's mad that Kimberly gets to wear pink, not him. That's the vibe I'm getting out of this, is that,
here's another thing, white people. Black people were never offended by the Black Ranger. Everyone loved the Black Ranger. So this whole idea, the Black Ranger can't be black because that's offensive, that's something you guys made up.
Yes.
You know how many people to this day are still doing hip-hop keto thanks to the Black Ranger? Like that's
By the
what
way,
Zack,
like-
Zack is where it's at.
If you want to take the Black Ranger's role away from him, I was at Comic-Con this year. Walter, whatever his name is, Walter Jones, he's still eating off of that role. He's still getting autographs
yeah.
and charging for pictures. So you want to unemploy a black man? How dare you? How dare you?
Well, Walter Jones, if I remember correctly, Walter Jones said he wanted to be the Black Ranger. It wasn't a race thing. He just wanted to be the Black Ranger.
One of the cooler colors, yeah.
And I still to this day, I don't believe the Saban brands actually sat down. They're like, all right, now make the yellow one the Asian one. Do it.
I think that was just a thing they realized like maybe 5 years later, like, oh crap.
They just casted people. They were like, yeah, this looks like Trini. We're looking for an Asian woman. We're not particularly concerned with yellow being yellow. You know, we're not trying to drive that and black being black and then the White Ranger being a white guy. We're not really trying to drive that home, but it ended up that way.
I don't know why I don't think about Tommy in that same vein, but you're completely right.
It is. It's always that's why he wasn't the White Power Ranger. That's why he was the White Tiger Ranger.
White Tiger Ranger.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he is Native American though, so like it kind of makes even more sense.
I don't think he is though. Jason David Frank doesn't have Native American.
Yeah, he is. He said he's Native American.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought he was just a regular old white guy.
Did he do like American Native American where he's like, I have 1/8 Cherokee blood on my like removed grandfather's side?
I don't remember, but I know he's part Native American, but I don't remember how much.
So that again, that leans itself into his Zeo Crystal journey when he had to go and meet his ancestor when he was a child after Lord Vile turned him into a kid. But we're way away from the animated series. So this is what we're seeing right here is this animated movie that was very much intended to go in the vein of like a Pixar sort of mock the thing kind of vein.
Well,
but
that's okay. That's exactly what that was what got me was if you go back to that Yellow Ranger one.
Yeah.
Right there, the save the world with a toy, like that to me is like they're doing the like this is so dumb, isn't it? Ha ha, like what do you call it? Like ironic like enjoyment of Power Rangers. And that to me is just like, oh, so you literally have no idea what you're like, you don't know this property. They're
trying to pull a Ranger Reject kind of thing when that doesn't work for this.
No, it's less a Ranger Reject thing where Ranger Reject is like playing up those tropes and sort of taking them very seriously. This is more of this is what we were seeing out of what's his name, Cider, Simon Bennett. Is that
Bennett? Yes, Simon Bennett. Sorry, I was drinking. Yes.
No, it's all good. Simon Bennett, the old showrunner for Power Rangers before it ended. He was the showrunner director of the last like 3 or 4 seasons. He was one of those guys who came out and was like, oh, everybody who sees this in America is going to think it's dumb. We need to think about American audiences and how to grow that there. So we got to shift away from its tokusatsu identity. And that's what this is. This is the stuff we don't like. At least Cider and I complain about this a lot, where it's like, stop doing the like, oh, I'm ironically cool about this. Like, we want sincerity in our stuff. We don't want detached irony.
Yeah, I don't need your angsty teenage from a 40-year-old's perspective on Power Rangers.
That's gosh, that's an even better idea of it. Yeah.
And as with every other studio though, Hasbro is no different and Saban was no different. All of the writers involved with the Power Ranger 2017 movie, all of the writers and the showrunner involved with the Power Rangers show Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury had no footing whatsoever in this medium. They were specifically hired because they were not Power Ranger fans. They were not Kung Fu fans. They were not fans of action television for children. And that's where they keep doing this. They did it with Star Wars.
We want someone with no passion for what they're being a part of at all.
Well, no, what they want is they want somebody that's going to create something that borrows from a Wikipedia page, but nothing more than that. So they're licensing. They don't have to go pay somebody else the royalties they're owed for that idea. They can look at a Wikipedia page and go, okay, so there's 5 teenagers with attitude. Their attitude should be that they don't take their job seriously. That would be funny. That would appeal to Zoomers. And that's what they do.
That's perfect, Cider. Yeah, they get the very base level read of what it is, and then they go, okay, this is how you should do it.
Right.
I'm sure 5 teenagers with attitude, okay, I'll get them to be angsty, jerk kids, whatever, who pilot big robots and turn into multicolored heroes. Well, that sounds dumb. So I'm going to make the kids think it's a dumb too. And then we're going to have that'll be the conflict of it or whatever. And
And
it's like, or go ahead.
that's modern children's television. That
It's sad.
because
It's
we
modern.
are living right now, like, because we have to watch this stuff for bounding. Okay, I don't go out to Netflix and watch little baby stuff. I go through and watch the nostalgia-rific stuff like Power Rangers and the revivals attempts that happened here. That
I
once
watched
and
that
always
show,
movie.
what is it? Like All Grown Up or whatever, the
Yep.
Japanese one about the kids where they go do their first errands. That's the best show on television.
So I pay attention to a lot of it, and here in
Older now,
America,
that's what it is.
the rebooty stuff, because nobody has any new ideas, right? You got He-Man, the various revivals of He-Man going on. So nobody has any new ideas. And so what they end up doing is, rather than trying to tell a story that's germane to the thing that's been around longer than they've been alive, they instead try to insert their own attitude. I've mentioned this over and over again. One of the people I used to deal with, who was an industry insider on the advertising end, not in the production end, informed me that writers in this sector, in like Hollywood and mainstream entertainment, like gaming, for instance, they're not interested in transforming the story from its medium where it originates into a video game or movie or whatever. They want to take those characters and write fan fiction.
Yes.
That's what they do now. They do not. If Vegeta's the prince of Planet Vegeta, there's going to be nonstop jokes about him, his dad, and the planet. It's going to be just a Team 4-star movie. There will be no effort to make Vegeta like consciously acknowledge that he will never be king because his people are dead and his father's dead, so there's no way to pass the crown down. And Trunks isn't a prince, doesn't behave like royalty, acts more like an American revolutionary when you get down to how he fought the androids. So there's a lot of
I'd watch
sub-layers
that.
there.
That sounds like it could be a fun like shonen like spin-off.
Right, but they don't.
No, I know,
They will not do it.
I know. No,
They're gonna
they're
lean
not
into
going to
all
do it.
the
I was
jokes.
saying your idea because you are a
Oh, yeah.
like it could have fun, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
And that could be the American story, is how it focuses on Vegeta rather than Goku, because Goku's kind of a hard sell to the American audience. He's a little empty. The American audience goes for Vegeta because Vegeta says, "Be proud of who you are," and Goku's like, "Just eat a lot and work out, bro."
But see, like, okay, you mentioned the thing about they don't want to hire anybody with passion or information about this.
Right.
And your points are all right, but I also raised the idea that, like, I think that's sort of by the way we got here was by design, right? Because we know that all of the people who work on all these projects from this sort of ironic mentality, they don't want to be working on this stuff. They want to be working on, they thought they were going to go to school and be the next Tarantino, the next James Cameron. And then when they didn't, and they had to get a job in a lesser medium of a video game or a children's entertainment, they're resentful of it. And they just see it as a stepping stone to get out of there. However, you can't, if you get that sort of job, you can't coast and stepping stone it as easily because there are fans who and lore and history, right? We know what we want to see out of it. You can't just come in and phone it in. So what do? You revamp the way Hollywood thinks, because the idea of somebody coming in onto your team who isn't 100% familiar with what's going on is an old technique. And it's actually not bad if you do it, you grab one or two people, because it helps you avoid going really full comic book. Like, if you grab somebody like that for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, maybe somebody would have gone, oh, maybe we don't go all 100% CG with this. So that's not a bad idea. But what they did is they took that and they took it from get one or two people who might not know it so they can give, one piece of pushback to, we shouldn't require anybody ever to know anything about this, because that makes our job easier, because in two, or not A and B. It makes our job easier in two ways. A, we don't have to research anything. And B, we don't have to really put in any effort. We can just write our fan fiction. We can just do whatever we want. So what you're seeing is really just this infiltration by all of the laziest, most narcissistic people possible into these industries. I mean, that's not news. We talk about this forever. We've known this. I mean, look at Kathleen Kennedy, look at Jack Schaefer, all of that fun stuff. But it's just, that's what this is. That's just me pointing it out.
Well, we do have good news on that front. We do have the CEO of Saber Interactive appearing, as you say, claims of overblown attempts at messaging or imposing morals on gamers. Now we'll just scroll down to, I believe you put the whole quote in here. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be in that one.
There it is. So her quote is this is what the guy behind Space Marines 2 did. Now, this isn't one fellow by himself. This is the fellow that's the CEO of the company that put this out. So this is a guy that much like Concord was very much, we got to be okay with the fat character, the weird vampire dentist, and the meth elf. This guy was like, nah, it's a Space Marines game.
Get
They kill
outta here.
things.
Yeah.
You know, and so this is what he said. He replied to, what was the video he replied to?
Asmongold was
Asmongold.
reacting to another guy's video, like he always does, about Space Marines too. And
Right.
basically, Asmongold and the guy were saying like the game's good because it's sort of like a throwback. It's not complicated. There's no 4 million menus to navigate through. There's no stupid gear systems. You sort of, like Jacob was saying, you run and gun. You pick it up and you go.
Yep. And so his quote about it was, I hope that games like Space... This is from CEO, by the way. This is not Asmongold. This is the CEO, presumably the CEO of Saber Interactive saying this. And he says, I hope that games like Space Marine 2 and Black Myth Wukong are the start of a reversion to a time when games were simply about fun and immersion. I spent some time as chief operating officer at Embracer, and I saw games there that made me want to cry with their overblown attempts at messaging and imposing morals on gamers. We just want some glory kills and get the heart rate up a little. For me, that is what games should be about. And I think he's absolutely right on this front, because
1000%.
a lot of like what we see with the new Legend of Zelda game, the Wisdom of the Past. I think that's what Wisdom of Time or something like that.
Echoes of Wisdom, I think.
Echoes of Wisdom, sorry. So we see that. Now, that's a game with a female protagonist, but it's done up to be adorable. It's done up to be, it's not meant to compete with Link. It's done in a previous art style that we've seen Link in. And so Zelda has her own abilities in that game. She has her own pathway. She has her own combat mechanics. She's not waving a sword around. She's not doing Link's sword dance. She's not walking around with the Master Sword and Shield. She has her own identity in that game. That is what I want to point to as an example of what this guy's talking about, because Space Marines, you know, if you do it right, it's a lot of violence, a lot of glory, a lot of brotherhood, and a lot of like, the Emperor is really great. If you do,
that's all you need to make a Warhammer project. That script, that piece of paper that Cider just said.
Remember that whiteboard that Star Wars had, and they were like putting dinosaurs and all that crazy stuff on it, right?
Yeah,
and so
I saw it last night.
Yeah, like the 40K whiteboard is guns, glory, brotherhood.
Remember the old Doom comic where Doom guy was just like a crazy person who was like tearing through everything? It's just a script of that. It's like rip, tear, blood, guts. Go make a Space Marine game.
But glory, that's the other thing. That's the thing that really gets this going, is that I don't think the SJWs, the DEI creators, could really get that, because that was the evidence that I saw in Concord, is that anytime you saw these characters sort of celebrating their existence together, it was always like an episode of Friends. They were just sort of like haphazardly pieced together. Whereas you find the Space Marines, they are one cohesive unit. They love each other. They have profound respect for one another, even though they've never met in their lives.
Have you seen that post going around? Somebody was doing an analysis of Spider-Man 2 and why they didn't really like the game at all. And they got to the script and they were like, my problem with the script is that these characters don't feel like characters. They feel like they're at work and constantly being watched by HR. They're super polite at all times. Everything is sort of, that's cool. Nice to meet you. Goodbye. Like the most like clean conversation you could possibly have. And then you have Space Marine 2 where they're allowed to be characters and have personalities. So you have them being gruff and fighting for the Emperor, and it feels like they're people and not, your next HR trainer. Yeah.
And I think that's really how Space Marines and Black Myth Wukong have really done well in this, is they've taken an otherwise inhuman scenario and humanized it to a point where games like Concord, who are showing us just at low, average, random space people, can't accomplish this. Like, they wanted to be Guardians of the Galaxy, forgetting that Guardians of the Galaxy functions like a family before any other thing happens in that movie. If you remember when they first
fight each
met,
other. They fight each other. They don't just sit there and go, "Hi, Gamora, nice to meet you. I respect all of your boundaries."
The bonding mechanism between Raccoon and Star-Lord was having Star-Lord steal a leg that Raccoon didn't need.
Yeah.
That was the bonding mechanism. And that they don't follow that through. They think it's funny and they want to copy and paste that like this. That's the whole Sriracha joke.
Right.
That's the Sriracha joke. That's Rocket Raccoon taunting Peter Quill about the eyeball or the leg he doesn't need, you know?
And like, to them, that is, it's that reference, like, it's like what Marvel does, right? They think that just referencing that makes them like, oh, you like Sriracha, I like Sriracha, we're friends, now I like this thing. And it's like, I know tons of people who like Sriracha that I would never let inside my house. So what is this weird narrative we're trying to push up?
Right, and
by
that's
the way, Sriracha still.
They're called Koreans.
Is that still a trend?
Yeah, there's white women all across the Northeast that think that that's how you cook spicy food now. You just like marinate it in Sriracha. Yep, but you know it's probably the spiciest.
You like Sriracha, don't you, Nerdigans?
She can't go that spicy.
I haven't had Sriracha in a minute. I'll eat Sriracha sauce. I'll eat Sriracha sauce occasionally, but it depends.
There was a time, I mean, at least in California, I don't know about you guys. Yeah. There was a time like 10 years ago where it was like Sriracha was literally in like everything. I was just like,
it was annoying. It became like a really big.
It became like a little religion almost.
Yeah, it was really dumb.
There was another one. I'm sorry, guys. There's one I wanted to show you. It just popped into my head because we had bound here over the course of the 20. Over the 20,000. Yeah. Over the 20,000 subscribers that we've had here, we've also talked about fast food. And today, now we have a brand new Fortune 500 video from a couple days ago that shows us how Chipotle is going to handle the number crunch. So robots are now going to make your Chipotle buckets. Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Good, because you know what? All the humans always mess up my rap anyway.
So does this mean now that when they get my order wrong, I have to jump over the cable and beat up a robot?
I guess.
Yes.
Good luck. It seems a little sharp and pointy.
I thought you were going to go with talking about the Genshin boycotters going in on McDonald's. That shit has been so stupid.
Can you imagine if they start arming like the service robot with tasers and they just start shocking people who get too belligerent?
Have to. I was watching a video the other day of when they tried. I guess they're still testing them out, but I believe it's Uber has like the little mini delivery robot like cars that can go on like sidewalks. They look like strollers. I watched the video the other day. And it was just like all of these ones going out in America and all the worst people you can think of, like, messing with it, stealing what was inside of it, kicking it over, just taking like the wheels off of it. I saw it get put up on blocks. Like, make it Mega Man at this point. That's the only way you're going to get your food.
I'm looking.
I can't wait for the Chipotle bots to tell me I have 30 seconds to comply. That'd be a great time.
Well, that's what we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with a time when you're going to go into Chipotle and you're going to find like an electric fence there, kind of like how Subway has the sneeze shield. There's just going to be an electric fence. There's no person in there anymore. You just, as soon as you try to climb over, you get lifted. 40 watts right up your arm or in your leg or whatever. It kind of deters you from stealing the avocados. And that'll be what it is. You just go in there.
Have one guy there who's heavily armed.
Right, but he's like one of those burnt out stoner guys who's just like, I will kill a man. I don't really have anything to live for, man. I will kill a man over a burrito. So don't try me, all right? He's got that shirt on. He's got one of those boomer shirts on that says, "Fish fear me, women fear me." He's got that.
Chipotle stealers don't miss me, or whatever. Yeah, hell yes.
We've fallen from grace pretty hard from the Pizza Hut buffets. That's all I'm saying. There was a time when we were a proper country.
Remember the Pizza Hut dessert pizzas with the cinnamon and everything on it? I mean, I know
those were good.
Yeah, you're right, Nerdigans. I know it's just glorified cinnamon sticks put on pizza dough, but still, it was that was the best part about going as a kid. Didn't one place bring it back? Didn't we look at that? Isn't one place bringing it back, even with all the gross carpet and everything?
Yeah, the old The retro Pizza Huts are coming
Yeah,
back. Yeah,
that's what it
nature's
is.
healing. Nature's healing.
Nature is slowly healing.
Yeah. And then, so we are also looking at a remaster of Dead Rising that's coming out. Here's some clips from the oldie Dead Rising, or I think maybe it could be the new one. I'm not sure. I can't tell with the graphics anymore. You can't tell if it's the old game or the new
I
one
know.
anymore. So, but I think it's the old one.
I'm presuming that was the old one because there was Booba.
Yeah, here's the new one, where the new they took out his communist dialogue, by the way. This character, he's no longer screaming about
so is this like a
communists anymore.
remaster or is this like an actual like new Dead Rising game?
This is a remaster, but they rewrote a great deal of the characters and changed them. Like the
So they
fat
made it
Asian
gay.
guy is a
Yep,
white guy
exactly.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this guy used to scream about communists, but now he doesn't. Now he just, there it is, see, and now he just doesn't do that anymore.
Thanks, Capcom.
Yep. So there you go. There's that going on. And
I don't know who, like, I don't know who gets excited for a remaster nowadays. I see a game is getting a remaster, and I just roll my eyes, and I know. Well, I know
Well,
it's
what
about
would be
to
the
happen.
I mean,
point?
remaster is such a glorified like cash grab. It's like, how do we
Yeah.
even get to a point where it's like as blatant as it can possibly be? It's like, hey, look, we can't make money selling new games anymore, so we're just gonna add some pixels to the old games that you like, and then hopefully you'll spend $70 on that.
I wish it was just as simple as we'll add some old new pixels, but it's like, oh, we're gonna take that old game you like and we're gonna update it for modern audiences so that we can use it in all of our arguments, right? Because as soon as we get like 5 years away, people will be able to go like, the original game was very misogynistic, blah blah blah, but the new one thankfully corrected those errors. And
The first game was actually like problematic, and I like that they got rid of all the problematic elements from the game.
I feel less
I'm being a good
attacked now
person.
that they took the anti-communist dialogue out. I'm
Mhm.
really glad that they did that. 'cause
I
couldn't
felt
play the game
personally
before.
attacked.
You know
Them
they
going after
did.
communists.
You know that's exactly what it was. There, in reality, if somebody had an ounce of screw my green screen, I gotta go for 1 second anyways.
Ogre whip.
Like if anybody had an ounce of media literacy who was making those comments, they would realize that the communist angle or like the Vietnam vet angle is really good for, like, it says a lot about what they're trying to say, like anti-war and everything, and it also shows how tragic it is that he came back and reacclimated to real life, but then this outbreak broke him to the point where he thought he was back there. It's PTSD. It's as tragic as it is, oh man, I gotta fight to defend myself. But because they hear, oh, communism bad, they, again, surface level reading, so they immediately go, get it out of there, I feel bad, communism good, you don't even know what you're talking about, Capcom. And they just go, okay,
Like the USSR was like actually the good guys.
they say it all the time.
So, speaking of the good guys, it would appear that we have trouble with Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zeros. Localization. More trouble.
Yeah, real quick. I know Spencer was talking about this last night. I forgot to mention this in his chat, but it's like, to me, when I still hear that there's like new Dragon Ball content, I just kind of think to myself the same way with Pokemon at this point. It's like, how is this still going on? Like, didn't we like end this like in the 90s, and then it's like still going on?
Well, the thing about Dragon Ball is that there's a lot of people around the world that just really enjoy the world of it. The characters that are kind of inside of it and the various power abilities, I guess, the hair colors, if you want to. And
are we going to be so desperate for entertainment that we're going to bring back Yu-Gi-Oh here in a couple of years? Like, is that what we're doing
Yu-Gi-Oh's
now?
been going.
yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh's still going.
Yeah,
Oh, God,
yeah.
man.
There's a remaster of that series out right now, I believe. Yeah, so.
But yeah,
redid it.
Yu-Gi-Oh's had different iterations and all that. It's been going. It's never stopped.
Yep. But Dragon Ball is an important sort of cultural milestone because, like, here in the West, we don't get too much of it because our entertainment's threatened by this kind of stuff. So they put a poo-poo on it as much as they can. Tried to kill it with Dragon Ball or Evolution, if you remember. So the actual situation is that outside of the West, outside of the U.S. particularly, you end up with people who are defining themselves by these characters. I mentioned earlier that Vegeta challenges you to have pride in yourself, pride in where you come from. A lot of young men in the world don't get that message. I mean, here in the United States, even though I've said we don't get it plundered with it, pummeled with it too much here in the United States, 1 in 4 alphas, that's right, that's the kids in high school now, 1 in 4 of those kids is born without a father in their home. So a character like Vegeta that challenges them to find some worth in their lives or to create it, that's pretty profound to them. And so likewise around the world with guys that don't have present fathers or perhaps fathers that aren't too good at communicating foundational values, here comes Dragon Ball that says work out, eat healthy. You know, Goku doesn't eat cakes. Goku's not stuffing his face full of chocolate. He's eating rice and meat. Mostly what he does. And even Vegeta, that's what he does. He stuffs his face with rice and meat. So they teach you like a relatively good eating habit. Then they tell you to train your ass off, quite literally. And so that's why it sticks, Jacob, is because it's reaching out to young men and just saying like, hey, dude, if you just want to be a man, these crazy guys with blonde hair sometimes, they know what's up.
That seems like kind of like a shining example of the problem in our society right now, that because so many men do not have fathers in the household, they're now looking at Goku and Vegeta to be their dad. And that's probably, some of us say, how did a once prosperous nation downfall? I think that may be the genesis point, like right there.
Well, again, it's a symptom of something, but I would rather that we have Dragon Ball out here teaching young guys to be productive members of society, to build their bodies up and to find some pride in their lives, as opposed to having things like Concord that don't teach them anything other than being a smartass. You know?
Oh my God, the Japanese are literally teaching us how to be men. Oh
yep.
God,
it's gotten that bad. It's gotten that bad. That's where we're at. But then likewise, they're on their own rediscovery path too, because without giants like Akira Toriyama out there to really guide, because again, he gave birth to what we consider the modern shonen genre. So without him out there kind of steering the ship on this whole thing, it's already started to skew a little bit. So,
well, you got One Piece and Naruto and Hunter x Hunter
the line
as well.
yet?
No,
No.
we're waiting for you.
Good. I don't know what it is yet. I didn't know there was another one. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to hear it now, or do you have some context for it, Nerdigans?
Well, I do want to say this. I did get even more context from other people, because I want to emphasize this. The thing is that with JRPG games in general, localization has just been bad for a long, long time. And it's usually only the English localization that has this problem. And it's just weird that for some reason it's gotten worse as time has gone on. I don't understand why it's been like this. And the fact that we're having more and more localizers boast about it is just even more ridiculous, considering that, Twitter is a thing and Japan does have access to it. And they do have access to Google Translate and DeepL, so it's not like they can't understand what you're saying. So it's weird. But anyways.
So here we go.
Whatever form you take, it's useless in the face of my time skip.
Bro's angry.
Is that
no,
in the
that's
game?
not real. That can't be real. That cannot be real.
Is that in the game?
Bro's angry.
Is that what you think?
No,
Mess
that
around
can't
with
be.
it, find out.
Did
I
you
think
just say
that's
fuck
somebody
around and
talking
find
over
out?
it.
Oh,
Yes,
that gotta be the
somebody's talking
reaction.
over it. Thank goodness.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the guy reacting to it. And so now we have Goku. Is that what you think? Mess around with it and find out. Yeah, okay. All right.
mean, yeah, like we saw this previously with Trunks saying no cap. I don't understand. You're not remaking something. You're not bringing something over that was brand new. Like these lines and dialogues have all been established for years and nobody has had a problem with them. Kind of like to Jacob's complaint that I sort of agree, or that I do agree with. We keep getting the same Dragon Ball content over and over and over again, and it keeps selling super well. I don't think anybody was in fear of it being outdated. I don't think this is,
Hey guys, this new Dragon Ball game has Super Saiyan 3 Goku in it. It's like having the last 30 ones.
Yeah, that's right. But now you get Super Saiyan 3 and modern Zoomer lingo for, and like I don't get the advantage here because nobody is going to sit here and go, I needed that to connect with. Now that I heard them say Zoomer lingo, I'm in. I would chance a bet that all the Zoomers who hear this are like, are you kidding me? Like
It
you got-
hurts.
right, exactly. It's the how do you do, fellow kids? So
Right.
you get nothing out of it in the positive. The kids will probably roll their eyes and will still play the game or whatever. But then people like us, you just go, oh my, like, what are we doing here? This is the sort of stuff that turns me off from buying it day one, or even, you know, I'm gonna buy this because they do what if scenarios in this, and I'm a sucker for that kind of storytelling. But
Sure.
yeah, like I would have gotten this at full price, but you keep doing stupid crap like this, and it makes me go, oh, I can wait. I can.
Cider,
wait.
go
And
up
who
to the
knows, maybe-
first. I'm sorry, Cider, go up
No,
to
no,
the
no.
first. Go up to the first tweet, because this is what really pissed me off. Because he said straight up, I literally messaged the group chat like, guys, does this translation read like "fuck around and find out" to all of you too?
Yeah, and so this is a translator. His name is Clifford Chapin. And
Well, he's the voice
Chapin-
actor for Kava. He's the voice actor for Bakugo in Boku no Hero Academia, and he also said that he did helped out with some of the script adaptation and voice direction.
So what he says here is, it's been over a year since I wrote this, so I don't remember the exact translation anymore, but it was something akin to, is that what you really think? Then why don't we find out for sure? Or something like that. But we had to match the Japanese audio link, hence the adaptation. That's not how that works.
I call
That's
bullshit.
Absolutely. That's not how that works.
I don't believe that, because this isn't getting a finished like 20-minute animation. You know what I mean? Where everything's all drawn in frames. Like, you're developing this. You can change how.
Well, it's not only that.
On screen.
What we learned from Team 4-Star is that what they do is they go through and they actually cut together the mouths moving up and down in sequence with the mouth, with the thing. This is a pre-loaded cutscene. This is a cutscene. This is not gameplay footage. This is not in-game. You can't run around Goku while he's transforming. This is a cutscene. They can very easily go through, remap that mouth, and change that to move with the American line of saying, if that's what you think, let's find out. And that way easier to do. And see, that this is something that I found in the in the Dragon Ball Team 4-Star editing, is that what surprised me is that, like, the OSHA dub didn't do this, the Ocean dub didn't do this, the Ocean dub didn't do this, the Funimation dub didn't do this. Any of the other companies that worked with Dragon Ball never thought to just take the frame and make the mouths just flap up and down. They don't shape anything. They just flap up and down. Unless they're going, ooh, they don't give them an O mouth.
Yeah.
They just flap. They go bop, 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 bop,
You
bop,
just
bop,
got to
bop, bop.
extend the shot of them on screen talking to match the audio.
That's
by like
it.
2 seconds.
Not even that. It's usually only about 4 frames, 5 frames more, just to get that extra English mouth close. That's it. It's really nothing more. And again, that's the sad part about this, is that rather than trying to provide you with a quality experience, they're just like, Goku said fuck around and find out, but for the family channel. Let's just do that. So
Don't you again, how do you do, fellow kids? That's all I can feel from this. It doesn't feel like a smart creative choice. It doesn't feel inspired. Like I was saying, it doesn't feel like there's any point to it. So it's all bad. It's all
Oh, and he
bad
claimed
all
it wasn't
around.
slang either, by the way. He said it's not slang and it won't be
very
dated at
clearly
all. And he said it was pretty close to the adaptation of whatever the translation said, just adapted for timing. And this is where it gets better.
But it
So it
wasn't.
actually does fit the character as the translation from Japanese presented him. That's a load of bull crap. That is BS. The thing is that really gets me though, and I think this is why they keep getting away with this, is the Western response. They praise it. They love it. I've seen so many Westerners like praise the hell out of this. And I've seen it with Ace Attorney's English localization as well, like where there's people like me that are like, well, I want an accurate, localization of the game, and they're like, no, the Capcom's localization is great, even though it's like really, really bad.
It's really
wrong.
off base and really, really bad.
It's
Well, like,
really bad.
You see, it's a weird thing that you get, Nerdigans, because like I see this a lot out of the like Sailor Moon fans, right? They go, we know that the anime exists, and we know what that we can all go watch that. But the Deke version, where they changed everything and they rewrote everything, and it looks like shit because the video source files were transferred improperly. That's the best one. It's the definition. Everything should follow this. And I don't get what it is about Western fans in particular, where they look at something and they go, mine now. I can, like, this is mine. This is original. I'm going to take this and make this mine. You don't get to have it. It's a weird thing.
Well, like with Sailor Moon, here's my thing with it. I just do not like the Viz dub. So if I'm gonna watch dub with it, I wish they would have gotten the Deke voice actors for the Viz dub, because if I could have that with the Deke dub,
you look at the Deke, it's not the voice actors that's the problem. It's that the Deke version of Sailor Moon makes a bunch of changes to the script.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Characters. So like, but the difference is you can watch that and you're saying like, I prefer that one, but at the same time you're going, but I recognize that it's not the best one. You're just saying like, that's my favorite. I know it's not the best one, but that's the one
I know. No, but I'm saying,
going,
yeah,
yes, this is the best one.
Yeah,
everybody should watch it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is the problem with this. Happened with Dragon Ball as well, and it's mostly because of Colin Clickenbeard playing Gohan. They just couldn't stand the screeching of Gohan's voice. But with Stephanie Nadolny coming back as Goku for Daima, now more people are like,
maybe you got to put that asterisk there. We don't know that for sure yet.
Yeah, the rumor is that Stephanie Nadolny's coming back for Daima, because they've seen her in the studios.
I believe that one as well as you do, Nerdigan, like as you do, but we
got
to do our diligence.
We got to do our diligence, that's right. But if that rumor is true, you're going to see so many people watching the dub just for her, because that's why a lot of people like me and Spencer won't watch Dragon Ball dub, is because she didn't come back for Gohan.
Well, she also got like if the rumors of what happened behind the scenes are to be believed, she also ran afoul of Chris Sabat's insider click over at Funimation. Again, this is all rumor and hearsay, so take it for what it is. But apparently they bullied her out of it, and so like that was a big bummer. And because she's my Goku, or my kid Goku. She's my Gohan. I always liked her.
Oh, and there's something else too that I'm waiting to get the official announcement for the dub to write this story. Is that there's a theater listing for Dragon Ball Daima's dub, the first 3 episodes going to theaters on November 10th. And it's gonna have an intro done by Nozawa. So I'm like, okay, so that might actually be worth going to see if everything is true and Stephanie Nadolny is doing the voice. Have you ever gone to one of those Nerdigans, like a screening of the episodes that are about to come out? I've been or like the recap movie things that they always do. I don't know. The recap movie, I haven't been to a recap, but I've been to, because at a convention, I've been to an early screening, but not the actual. Yeah, that's different. I think that's a little different. That's an event. But I mean like going to the movies and watch like the what is it coming out? The Solo Leveling one. The Solo Leveling one. I know My Hero Academia has done a bunch of them. I've always I don't know. I'm always like, oh, wait. I don't know. It's hard for me to do. If it's a movie, I'll go, but I've never been like, I gotta go see the episodes. Well, like if it's an anime original, like I would be more inclined to go, but if it's like if it's a manga to anime adaptation, I can't do it, because I have to have like the source material in front of me, because I have to compare it. Right. I'm very stingy about that. But yeah, like for Daima is something that I would, because it is an anime original, like that's something I can be like, okay, I can actually go and enjoy it. And not have to sit and not have to what are they changing? I remember this line is different. Yeah. Yeah, I can actually like enjoy it. And again, if we have Stephanie Nadolny there, it'll be like complete nostalgia too for me. It'll be super nice if she's there. I just like it's sort of the same like vibe I have with like concerts now, and maybe that's just because I'm getting older, but it's like I like that band, I like Daima, I like all this stuff,
I don't like the people necessarily who go to these events, and I don't necessarily want to be around them. You know
Well,
what
it
I mean?
depends
Like,
what concert.
Well, have you outgrown the Paramore concert? Is that what's happening to you, Spencer?
I mean, yes, absolutely. I've long outgrown that one at 100%. But like, it's a thing. Like my friends will tell you, like we all get together and we're like, oh yeah, let's go to a concert. We're gonna go do this thing. And as soon as I get there, I'm like, dude, these people all suck. Like I don't want to be here. Like these people are all jackasses.
Let's be honest. You're basically like 3 years away from being like the older group who goes to like that heavy metal concert when they find out like some cover band for like 80s like heavy metal is coming into town.
And they're playing at a casino, right? Yeah, no,
yeah,
100%.
exactly.
I'll be watching.
Oh, Journey's coming to town. Oh, that's amazing.
No, dude, it's fine. I didn't just go see Blink-182 earlier this year. It's not the exact same thing.
Exactly. Like, oh, that's probably the saddest side of them all. Like, can you imagine like going to like a Simple Plan concert where everyone's like almost 40?
I would totally go. So bad. I would so go to a Simple Plan concert.
I don't know.
Like,
I think it would be like watching Corey Feldman. I honestly do. It just feels a little.
Can you imagine?
There's a bunch of 40-year-olds in chain wallets.
Can you imagine them singing "I Want to Fuck a Dog in the Ass" now?
They did.
Oh wow! I thought that they were like trying to distance themselves from that one. That they would be like, "No, that wasn't real. You had a fever dream."
But they know what the people want.
Look, Nerdigans looks.
Audience.
Nerdigans looks more like a Rob Loxer type of girl, more than someone who will go see like the B-52.
But like,
so we do have. What's that, Nerdigans?
well, like I went to the last concerts I went to. Like this was like almost a decade ago now, or no, a little over a decade ago now. I've seen like Iron Maiden, I've seen Scorpions, I've seen AC/DC, I've seen Metallica, like I've seen like 80s, 90s groups, rock bands. I haven't seen modern groups.
The last concert I went to, I literally went to a Kenny Chesney concert like 3 months ago.
Hell yeah! It wasn't a Diddy show.
No, possibly not. No,
Not sure those two party.
You grow up when you realize that, yeah, you know what, it's probably a good thing I never got invited to those parties. I probably dodged a few bullets.
So speaking of dodging bullets, we do have a new Batman, Japanese Batman story. This one is.
Did you ever watch the first one, Nerdigans Insider?
Yeah,
Oh,
I watched the first one.
I liked the first one a lot.
It was good.
I don't hate anything like that. I just stopped absorbing a lot of media. You know, I watch stuff that with the intention of going out and making a video about it. If it's good stuff, I'm just
go watch
good
it.
time, have fun, enjoy it.
No,
I don't have time.
Dude, that's where I'm right there with you. Like everybody asked me, well, oh, what have you watched lately? And I'm like, I've watched The Acolyte, I watched Agatha,
Pain.
And they're like, why do you watch these bad things if you know they're bad? And it's like, I have to. It's my job. I don't have time to watch anything good.
You come around to something good, and you're just like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm the dog that caught the car.
Like Jacob knows, like I get most of my, like for movies at least, like I get a lot of my recs from him, and it'll take me like a month, and then I'll be like, hey, remember that Korean movie you mentioned in passing? And he's like, yeah, why are you bringing it up?
Everybody retired from that movie.
Yay. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I finally watched it. Yay.
There's been 6 more movies made since that one.
That's how it goes every time.
So we're not going to play the audio. I don't know if we'll get hit for showing the graphics, but we'll find out.
Probably not.
So,
there's Batman. Today is Batman Day, so this is perfect, isn't it?
So this is Ninja. This is Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League. Now, the show itself, our little preview here, does mock its own name, but that's Damien. He's a bit of a shit anyway, so I hate Damien. I really do. Worst idea they ever had. But so this Batman is, we're told, the Batman from ancient times that ended up either spell isekai'd into the future or
so what it is this is actually current day Batman, and in the last movie he gets isekai time warp, everybody does, back into the feudal Japan, so like all of his villains, all of his allies. So that's like in the first movie, everybody has a very like super Japanese inspired appearance. Like they have Red Hood, and instead of like a helmet, he has one of those long like basket weave like things that they used to use for like religious ceremony cider. You guys know what I'm talking about. I have no idea what it's officially called. And then at the very end, it turns out that so like he goes to fight all of his villains like Poison Ivy and Two-Face, Penguin, Joker, and they've been there for a little while longer, and they've sort of carved up I think it's like Kyoto or Tokyo or something into like gang territories. And so Batman goes to stop them, and then the final battle is they all of their bases like turn into giant walking mecha, and it's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah. And so here we are again with this now, and so we have arrived at a future now, I guess, with Batman traveling in the past, as we see right here, with Batman returning once again. I'll pause it the right one. Here we go. That's Terminator enough. So with Batman,
that's the end of the last movie.
With Batman sort of having all this happen in the past, and all this machinery and all of this mayhem happening, and then not cleaning it up when he left, Japan sort of took over the world, is what it looks like in this setting, is that everybody's Japanese, they're all speaking Japanese, and Japan appears to be the dominant culture of the planet. And we're going to see a few blips of the Justice League. So we have Power Ring.
She looks so
Jessica,
gorgeous.
yeah.
Jessica, yep. Jessica, we have Jessica, and then we'll be seeing Aquaman will be joining us.
Yeah, Yakuza, Aquaman. He looks
With
so
like,
sick.
he has like the fisherman's band. I love it.
Yeah, the Flash will be here as what appears to be a cocky Ronin.
Like a Ronin. Hey, I was gonna say Ronin. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm not really sure what they're aiming with Wonder Woman exactly. I get that she's supposed to be a warrioress, but I'm not quite following what's happening. Like a
Is
warrior
she supposed to be
geisha?
like a courtesan too? Yeah, like I have no idea. She sort of looks like geisha-y.
Yeah,
that's what I was
geisha.
thinking.
That's the only shot you get of her. Unfortunately, is that quick one.
Yeah, and I don't think we saw
Yakuza
Superman either, did we?
No, I don't
no
think we
Superman.
saw Superman.
I think we did.
It's not Justice League, it's the Yakuza League.
It was just really quick because nope, that's Wonder Woman. So, and she's fighting.
Yeah, in front.
Yeah,
I'm
we
guessing if Superman's in this movie, he's going to be your third act reveal.
He might be the leader of the Yakuza, because that's what they like to do with Superman, is they like to just create alternate worlds where he's just inexplicably, horribly evil. Just, he's just a horrible monster just because, and that's probably what they'll do to him in the Yakuza.
They got to take more of an approach like Red Sun, where he's still him, just with a different ideology, and then he eventually learns that his ideology sucks.
He explains that he landed in the garden of the Emperor in like the 1700s, and so he's been there ever since. And
do you remember? This is semi-obscure, but do you know that there's that old Japanese story about the fisherman who encountered the like silver disc in the water, and the beautiful woman came out and tried to talk to them, and then couldn't communicate, and she left. Like everybody always says, like that's a UFO story, but use that and make it Clark. Like I think that'd be a neat little alternate.
They probably did. This movie, as you've said, has been pretty well executed. So this is probably based in some Japanese folklore, and that story, I think, takes place either during the feudal era or just after it. So
it's like right around then.
Yeah, so that would track with Superman being like the reason why Japan is the dominant culture, because he was there and spread that through his power. So that you have like several 100-year-old Clark who's very well nestled into Japanese culture. Clark-usama. Clark-usama.
I want him to do. It's a little out of character, but imagine him doing the like samurai pose where he like the one leg down, one leg up. He's like leaning on it.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine he's
a little out of character, but it'd be funny.
Imagine if the boss battle with him is a Yakuza dance-off.
That would be sick.
The only way to defeat him is to shame him in front of the other Yakuza, because you can't overpower him. So the only way to defeat him is to shame him in front of the Yakuza that support him, and you beat him in a dance-off.
No, he'll beat him in like a really high-tech shogi game.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, they'll have like a Yu-Gi-Oh card match.
Yes. or
And-
they'll turn like their allies into shogi pieces or something. And it's
Right,
like, I moved
yeah, there you
Flash
go.
over here. Ooh, okay, we'll counter Damien or something.
Exactly. Yeah, so you have the Bat Family versus the Yakuza League, and there'll be like chess pieces on a yogi board, that kind of thing. It'll be like a game of Go, and they'll be doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, so the Uno, yeah, they'll be playing Uno.
Yes.
But see, that's the only way, because it's so boring now. Well, Batman gets a kryptonite sword, and that's how he defeats Superman, is he has a sword battle with him. So
Well,
I have to
feel
wonder
like-
if they'll be more
yeah.
creative.
Well, I on one hand, okay, obviously I liked the first movie, so I'm a little biased. So I'm going to say I think they will, but to that end, I do fear that it's still a WB production. It still has input from them. I really hope it doesn't devolve into another boring hero versus hero thing, right? Like we've gotten to the point in pop culture where that gets made fun of. Like every comic book show, oh, are we going to have a fight where the heroes, fight before we team up or whatever? Like everybody jokes about it. It's not, we've done it. Move on. There's nothing, unless you do something like a dance battle or a shogi match. There's nothing. Yeah. What's going to happen? Kryptonite. Got him. Congratulations. We won. Everybody's out there. Yay.
So we have that to look forward to. But we do have a new contributor over on Bounding. We have Nikola Pajitic. I think that's how you said it. Pajitic, maybe?
Somebody tell me. I've only ever read it.
Right. So we have Nikola here. We can at least say that right. And in celebration of its 10th anniversary, Bandai Namco announces a remaster for the PS Vita defining action RPG Freedom Wars. I remember seeing the trailer for this. I didn't have a PS Vita. And I remember seeing the trailer for this and just being absolutely psyched for Final Fantasy in the city in like modern times. It was like this really crazy concept of these, as you can see, these nutty monsters that are sort of like urban elements smashed together into like these hellacious monsters. And you're basically Seto Kaiba going around kicking their ass. And I was like,
you're
yes.
prisoner Seto Kaiba, because the whole thing is that in this new dystopian future, if you do a crime, you can get hit with like million-year sentences. And the only way to get out of them is to go out and fight these monsters and clear the city, sort of like a Suicide Squad thing, but you actually do get credit and there's no brain bomb.
Yep. Now this reeks of mid-2000s PlayStation advertisement, and I love it. You got real human action introducing the premise of the game and then cutting to the game footage. And I really like that about the early PlayStation stuff, the mid-2000s PlayStation stuff, is they bridge the gap between real world and then Xbox did it. You remember that?
Xbox only did it with like Halo, didn't they? With like their I know there's like that one commercial where they're in like a museum and the guy is telling the story of Halo.
Didn't they do it with Gears of War?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
I think they
that's
did
right.
it with Gears of War.
They did do it with Gears of War. That's right.
Yeah. There's only been a couple of them with the Xbox, whereas PlayStation, this has kind of been a standard for them, was to come out and
do you remember that
have
there
real
was
people.
a commercial for like the PS4 or the PS5, one of them, but it was like all the Sony characters were gathered in a tavern and they were all giving like a cheers to like John, who was like the player or whatever. And you had it was a simplistic commercial, but I remember liking it a lot because all the actors and costuming they did, it was genuine. It felt like they actually wanted to make them and do them like well, instead of like the Uncharted movie where they just said, throw a tan shirt on him. All right, Temu style. Good. You're good to go.
That's enough.
So
he looks like a guy.
I always liked that commercial.
Yep. And that's the trouble with like the modern gaming scene is they're more interested in like showcasing the experience of playing the game. And I get the logic behind that. I understand why they're doing it. It's not out of left field to prioritize the game. But the thing you're trying to do is sell the game. It's not necessarily important to show the gameplay. Like a movie trailer, we're getting the whole damn movie in the trailer now.
I disagree with that because if you're trying to sell me a game, I want to know what I'm going to be playing. I want to know, is it an action game? Is it an RPG? Is it an action game like Dark Souls, or is it an action game like Monster Hunter? Is it an action game like DMC3? So I think that's an important thing to have in trailers.
Let's do 60-40 then. Let's do 60 real life people and real life situations, then 40% gameplay footage. But it's raw gameplay.
Yeah.
It's not trailer footage. It's
Right.
raw gameplay.
Yeah. No, I don't want pre-generated cutscenes or anything. I want you can see the on-screen inputs going. Put it that way.
Well, speaking of inputs on screen, we have now got a reply from the Pal World devs regarding the Pokemon Company and Nintendo's lawsuit about their copyright claim to throwing things. It has nothing to do with the cute little monsters, just so you know. It has everything to do with Nintendo Pokemon Company's nebulous patent on throwing things to capture other things in a game. Nintendo.
That's okay, but that's where you have to have that other bit of context, because if you go, yeah, they have a patent on throwing things, that sounds ridiculous. Of course they should lose that. Everybody's going to say that. But if you go, they have a patent on throwing a sphere to capture a monster, then you go, okay, now let's talk about maybe you are infringing on something. And like, so this Pal World uses ball spheres, and you throw them and they pop open, they capture them in.
Right, and they sparkle in a bright light, as they do in Pokemon. Yeah. Yep. No, what I'm stressing is the absurdity of the situation that we find here. That's why I admitted that point. The other thing is that Nintendo is kind of infamous for this. They also took out playable intro screens. That they ended up patenting that. So that was the end of like playing before the start menu.
I thought that was PlayStation who did that. Was that Nintendo? Somebody did that. Somebody did that.
I believe it was Nintendo that did that, that you can play the character while the start screen is there. You don't have to go right into the menu. But this is Nintendo's thing, is they have a habit of doing this when they create something that is arguably legally defensible.
Bandai Namco's got it. That's who it does.
Bandai. Okay, my bad. So this is a new thing is what I'm stressing. In the Japanese game creating market, it's not new to patent other people out of functionality of a game. And so here we find ourselves with Pal World and the Pokemon Company squaring off over throwing spherical objects at cute monsters with the intention of capturing them. Pal World's excuse is that when they're using this, it's not just limited to cute monsters. You can also capture people, objects, and I think that's that. People and objects. I don't think you can capture weapons with it.
No, but, you just carry your flamethrower around normally.
And then that's their claim with how their sphere that captures operates. And as Spencer alluded to earlier, their capture process is the Temu, the Wish.com version of how Pokemon are captured. The ball is sort of like one of those Hinduist eggs, one of those very priceless Hinduist eggs.
Eggs.
Fabergé, there it is. The Fabergé eggs.
Those are straight up Slavic.
I'm sorry. You get past Romania, and I'm not too sure what goes on over there until you get to China.
It all runs together until you get to Japan.
Until you get to China, it kind of blends together. So anyway, you got those precious. So those separate like it just full. It doesn't open up like a Pac-Man. Doesn't do that. It just full on separates, and then whatever is caught between those two halves glows bright blue, narrows into a shaft of light, and then the ball closes and you either capture it successfully, as with Pokemon, or unsuccessfully, it'll be released and you'll have to try it again. This also works on other human combatants that are not player characters. You encounter an NPC group, again, a very similar group to Team Rocket runs around in an attempt to screw with you. You can capture these people and make them work for you as security teams. You're muted.
Oh, I was just laughing and saying it's pretty funny. I've played Power World. It's fun to capture humans in the hall.
Who doesn't want to have Pokemon with guns? Like that was such an obvious decision, you know? And Swiss, Russian. Okay. All right. Somebody makes those eggs and they're very precious. So let's put it that way.
Yeah, but somebody out there.
That's what the capture device looks like in Pal World, is that it looks like a Fabergé egg. It's very, very over-designed, if you will, but you kind of understand why they didn't want it to be confused with a Pokeball. As again, why it couldn't be square, why it's not a triangle, why it's not a full-on pyramid that you pitch at somebody, I don't know. Maybe that's what it'll be going forward, is they'll have like a cone of silence visual, if you recall from that Steve Carell remake movie. They'll have like a glowing cone that goes down over somebody, and then they get...
Like, the problem is, if this lawsuit goes forward and Nintendo, they find in their favor, Nintendo's not going to let them change things. Like, that's just not how Nintendo goes. They're going to go, shut it down, which sucks, because, like, this is a game like Cider sort of said. This was a natural evolution of the Pokemon formula, and it almost does seem from a PR perspective that rather than just trying to do better with their own product, they're trying to shut down a competitor, and that kind of doesn't sit right.
Well, there is the possibility that because I saw this on Japanese Twitter, where they charge Pal World like some fees and whatnot, and licensing and stuff like that, and then they could go about their day. And the thing is because Pocket Pair does have that joint venture going on with Sony and Aniplex, this isn't a small indie company anymore. Because if this was like a small indie game, then I would be like, okay, then you would maybe worry about being, the game shutting down. But this isn't that type of beast anymore. No, this is a bigger beast now because they're partnered with Sony Music Entertainment and Aniplex. So because of that, I don't think it would get shut down if they lose in court, just because of that reason.
Because it's so big and it has so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
Well, and they're not suing them over something that is functional to the game, like the character designs.
Yeah,
they're
that's
suing
true.
them over something very minor that can be excused in a game-wide update. You have a new capture device. And that's what they'll do. Is it'll just be a patch that goes out where your capture device turns into an apple.
Or they make it like a magic beam or something, you magic orb and you throw it, and it's the same animations, it's the same everything, but now it's just magic.
It just so long as it possesses some legally defensible difference from the Nintendo Pokemon company Pokeball, they're perfectly fine. That's the problem. The biggest mistake that they made was making it a sphere. Had they kept it like anything else, it probably wouldn't be here today.
But something that I noticed, though, and this is what has pissed off the Japanese side of the fandom, is that they do not like that Pocket Pair was trying to use the indie gaming scene as a shield, saying that, oh, we're the small indie company getting bullied by Nintendo. They were not happy with that. And I can understand where they're coming from.
Are they not a small indie company? Genuinely, like I always figured.
Not anymore.
Now with all the Power World backing and everything, yeah.
Yeah, they're not. And I feel because I know the Westerners are like, oh, Nintendo is just bad, blah blah blah, and they're bullying Pocket Pair.
How great, divided this debate is. In the West, everybody is on Pocket Pair's side. In the East, everybody is on Nintendo's side.
It's a little bit mixed on the East from what I've seen, and it is kind of the same thing with what happened with the Berserk fan animated project. Like the problem that happened with Berserk, and I know
shut down, yeah.
Yeah, the thing that happened with Berserk is the Westerners that are pissed about it are mad because there's not a good Berserk anime. What they don't understand is that they violated copyright, for one thing. And they were taking donations via Patreon, which was a bad thing to do. And they're not basically, it's not a fan project. Because from what people found on LinkedIn was they are a group of 150 people. And they have scammed fans before with Attack on Titan Requiem. So yeah, this is.
Wait, how'd they scam them on that one?
They didn't release it.
Oh, they just didn't fulfill it.
No, and they're not going to fulfill this either. Probably. They said. Here's the thing, though. City Eclipse didn't say they were going to cancel it. They have not said they would cancel it. So I don't know what's going to happen at this point. If they're going to go forward with it, they might get sued. I don't know. It's crazy.
All I can say is if you donated to that Kickstarter or Indiegogo, whatever it was, go get your money back. Because it is, you got it. That entire situation made me so mad because everybody was going, wow, how could Berserk do this? Are you afraid? Why wouldn't you just let this fan animation go? And I'm like, guys, you don't understand any part of copyright law, legality. Please just sit this one out.
And also, it's not a fan animation. Like a fan animation, if you want to know what a fan animation project would be, go look at
like that Dragon Ball one where Goku goes into like Sun Wukong. That's a fan animation.
Well, look at what's going on with the best one I could think of is that's in development right now is the Dragon Ball Kakume project. They are making an anime adaptation of their own fan manga. That is what you would consider an actual fan animation project. This is not. This is not a project. They were doing this for commercial use. That's what's going on with Studio Eclipse.
Right. And, you know, speaking of studios taking creative liberty on stuff, we have Ubisoft, however you like to say it. I like to say it wrong. So we have a Japanese consultant cited for New York Times Assassin's Creed Shadows puff piece revealed as a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee.
Yeah, I found that like 4 days before everyone else started talking about it.
And you didn't share it with us then, huh?
I know. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
That's
There's
on
more
you.
to that story. That's on me. There's more to that story too.
Share it with us. What the hell?
I forgot. There's more to that story too. I'll share it. I'll send it to you guys at the Slack. There's more to that piece.
So what happened was a person known as Kazuma Hashimoto was quoted in a Zach Small New York Times article about how Assassin's Creed had been encumbered with negative feedback, and this is what other people are talking about it, along with some of that negative feedback fed in there. What Zach's intention was, it's pretty clear, was to make sure that people understood that the opposition to Assassin's Creed Shadows is stilted, fake, propped up, and that the approval of it is global and warm and fuzzy and authoritative, as he quoted the communist
not even, it's
professor.
not even that the global reception it's good. It's that Japan specifically is super banging on it, which is like clearly they're trying to push back against everything we see in real life.
And Kazuma is not, Kazuma is pitched as speaking for the Japanese. This person comes out and says that the Japanese will receive it and that the opposition you see online is most likely people in America or Canada or England that are pretending to be Japanese for the sake of creating controversy. The trouble is that Kazuma himself is Alaskan, born, raised, and grew up and left Alaska, not Japanese. Maybe in the genealogy.
So that doesn't really, to me, that doesn't really apply to the story because you can still go learn Japanese and still talk to Japanese people.
Well, sure, I gather that, but Kazuma is presented as being authentic in their Japanese conversation. At no point does Zach say that Alaskan-born Sweet Baby consultant Kazuma Hashimoto. Kazuma Hashimoto is presented as a person on the ground. I think this is a
bit of a reach. I don't think you need to. I don't think the ethnicity of somebody is relevant. If they are somebody who works in Japan and they have a Japanese background, I don't think that whether they are Japanese or
they don't
not,
work in
really,
Japan though. Kazuma works in California.
But they work with Japan. They work with Japanese people all the time.
I guess, but I'm more down on the line that don't speak for the Japanese if you're not there. You know, I don't speak for the Japanese. I read the comments section and I relay what the comments section's telling me. That's what I tell people as well, that my opinions are informed by people there. When we get people in from Japan that want to correct me on the history I've gotten wrong, I have fights with people about the ninja. I thought they were farmers.
Right, but that's okay. That's essentially what they're doing here. So imagine if somebody was getting on you for saying, why is this person speaking for the Japanese? You're not authentically Japanese. You don't work there, Cider. Why are you saying anything about it?
And there was no attempt in that article to clarify that with Kazuma. We go on in the immediate next paragraph in that article to present the credentials of the professor. Kazuma is presented as being a Japanese person. There's no mention of him being not in Japan. They're presented as a consultant, not even a Ubisoft consultant, just a consultant.
Again, to me,
I want to make sure you guys aren't dipping the two, was it? Was where I'm looking for the two meanings here. That there's obviously being like culturally Japanese and actually being like citizen like Japanese. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to make sure we're mixing those two things because somebody from the outside could look at it and be like, wait, so is this like just a Japanese person working for the company, or is this actually someone who's like representing the country, the Japanese company proper? So,
and I think the thing to note is that they are going to somebody who has a Japanese, what I think, like, I will admit what they are doing here is trying to unsubtly get that sort of thinking in the reader's mind, right? That this is a Japanese person from Japan who has super big contacts with Japan. That to me is the underhanded part. And that's the part that we should be calling out. I don't see if, to me though, going, oh, they're relaying information from Japan. Again, I don't necessarily believe their statement because of everything we read, but I don't write it off like that. To me, isn't the argument to make, because I could say the same thing about you, and I don't agree with that. I think you're relaying what other people said.
I guess, but again, like my contention is that this is, they have literally staff members at Ubisoft. They have family members in Japan that could have come out and said this. Zach could have called up an actual Japanese game dev and talked about this, but Kazuma was the one that they chose.
They might have thought that this person was a genuine, actual Japanese game dev because of their name. Like,
that's true. That's true.
Like,
we don't know if this is that real. I'm going to
break this to everyone. Like, in a perfect world, we would have all the resources for journalists to be able to go, I'm going to dig into everything right now. That isn't always available to us. Sometimes we only have what is presented with us. We don't have all of the resources to super dig. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. And that's where you can fall into these traps sometimes.
Well, and Kirby, he lives in Japan. Yeah, I speak with him outside of the streams here. He lives in Japan, and he's mentioned on the ground that most people don't even know there's an Assassin's Creed Shadows game. they have no clue. It's just, he's not out there asking people. It's just not conversation in the air.
I'm sure there's no conversation, no billboards or whatever.
It could be, but again, the Japanese on TV. The Japanese aren't like the Americans anyway. I can't speak for the English, but as an American, we tend to get pretty fired up about things. Our culture encourages being outspoken about things that we don't like. Whereas in Japan, social cohesion is sort of peak and important.
Yeah, that's the priority.
So there aren't a lot of people that go around and being like, screw this Assassin's Creed, find Thomas Lockley now. There's none of that.
Yeah, like you're probably not going to find like a Nerdrotic or an Az from Japan.
Well, we do. We have Pukujiji.
They'll be more calm about it.
We have the fishy.
Right.
You have the Japanese fishy, though.
I don't know what that is.
Pukujiji is he's been covering the Assassin's Creed content in Japan. And I wouldn't say he's like passionate like Az, where he's screaming about pronouns and stuff like that. But he is definitely more geared in like nuts and bolts what's wrong with this. He's not out here trying to say that Ubisoft is coming in to burn down Japanese culture. He's raising concerns about why the Japanese people should be worried about this game spreading the idea of how Zengoku Japan functioned. And he gets down into like the actual like nuts and bolts of them like butt bowing, having their rice outside, because we don't know this, but apparently back in the Sengoku era, rice was money. That's why everybody was given a rice stipend by the regional lords, because there just wasn't little metal tokens to hand out to people. So they had rice instead.
If you read a lot of ancient Japanese history stuff, or if you guys have watched Shogun, that's why they always go like, how much koku, I think it is, that do you have? And it's like, that's not money, it's how much rice you produce on your land. It's really interesting.
Right, and that is basically currency in this time period. And so as we see O.R.C.A going around in their like environmental change show-off thing that they did in the gameplay reveal, that you can go from winter to summer and all this other stuff, they're having the rice just sit outside. That is the way that you like exist in this time period, and it's out in the rain. It's out in the snow. It's out in just the blazing noontime sun. And anybody just walk around and take it. It's just sacks sitting there, it's free real estate. And so that's just what they did. So he talks about that. Pukujiji drills in on that. He's not so much in like trying to get the Japanese people fired up to go to war with a French company in Canada. But he is
take them out.
There's another one.
We have to protect our borders from the Canadians. They're coming in and they're taking our comedy jobs.
The Montreal is anyway. Quebec can't be trusted.
The Quebec.
But Quebec, don't trust Quebec. But around Quebecs, don't relax. But anyway, the way with Pukujiji is what he does. So we have, I believe it's Dash Blue is another one that is he's an American, but his wife is born, raised, educated in Japan. I believe relocated with him, and so she, talking to her family, has expressed that once again nobody knows. Nobody's talking about this. This isn't on the news. This isn't something that's around the water cooler. Even in private, as you know, the Japanese have a like public and private sort of thing. What goes on in private, there's not people talking about this. It is just it's people who are fans of this that came across it from the West and either purchase the Japanese version or have an English version that they take their best guess at. And that's what it is. It's a very niche thing. So who gets involved about this are actual Japanese history buffs. And that's what we've learned through Dash Blue and what he's talking about with his wife is that people who are actual, like people who are very passionate about their family lineage, about family lineage in general, care about this. People who are passionate about the Japanese history are caring about this. Most people are just like, I gotta get to work. I don't care if they made the samurai black. I gotta go. So, and that's the way it is. And I'm glad for it. I don't think Japan should be concerned with a game that's primarily aimed at people in America. So,
like Korea.
Yeah, well, again, Korea they put out, what are they? They put out the Descendant. And that chick has all the butt. And that game is taking all the money. So I can't argue with that. Korea's coming through and saying, Japan, you had your time and now you've thrown it away. So now it's time for Korean miracle.
Mm-hmm.
So is China. China's coming up as well. And then you got
that.
I know it's scary, but you got the Western kids trying to boycott the hell out of it
for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the days of, the West, and obviously you can throw the US in there, but it's our cultural our cultural influence days, I think, are over. And really, when you look back down to it, it's going to be our own fault. It's not going to be because China outplayed us or because Japan outplayed us or Korea outplayed us. It's that we essentially gave up on our own homegrown market and basically said, okay, well, we're just going to placate to like everyone else. And then when everyone else wasn't there anymore, they burned their bridge so thoroughly with their own home base that there was just no way they were ever going to recover.
And that's just it, that's why indie is just exploding now. And like very simplistic indie stuff like Among Us, Pico Park, there's that Content Warning, Fatal Company. These games that are just straight up maybe 2-man, 3-man teams that put up this thing where a group of guys get together and just cause mayhem on a map. They're winning. They're making money hand over fist. Because the spirit of the game is just to have fun. You're not going to learn anything. There's no teachable moments in the game. Nothing that's going to set you back on your heels, white man. So,
yeah.
And that's why China won with Black Myth Wukong, is because it said, "Do you want Monkey Man?" And people said, "Yes, we want Monkey Man." They said, "Okay, here's Monkey Man. Nothing else." And that's it.
That almost sounds like
look at Genshin and ZZZ or Zenless Zero. They want pretty girls. They give pretty girls, and what happens? You have the sexually repressed Westerners being like, "Oh, this is gooter bait. Oh, this is pedo crap." It's like, what? And also this is whitewashed.
By the way, I love how they use those terms to try to make it seem like somehow they're above it all, yet they're the ones who know all the terms. So it's like, yeah, I think you're kind of exposing more about yourself than anyone else there.
It's so funny. It is true. And you know what's weird? It's a lot more. I've been seeing this a lot more. Is that a lot of these people? Because Cider did say that they were kids. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot more 15 and 16 and 17-year-olds trying to pick fights with adults. On Twitter over this, and now I'm seeing more of my friends doing this too. They're saying, why don't you just go do your homework, minor, and then just block them.
Do your homework. Yep. And that's what it is. We get people in the comments section when we do Genshin stuff, and it's quite clear that they're not even college age yet because their viewpoint on this is entirely self-centered. They don't feel like they have a character that looks like them in Genshin Impact. Well, I want to let you know
Dude, it's often not even them. They're doing that thing where it's like, oh, I'm speaking on behalf of you, Jacob. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you your representation in Genshin. And you look at
14-year-old white girls.
Exactly, bingo, bango.
And that's the thing is that as we go into like dealing with these people going forward, you're going to see more of this because the teachers are talking to these kids about this stuff. The teachers make, and the media reinforces it. I'll remind you, Cartoon Network did this extensive, like short bumper series of commercials where cartoon characters, sort of Roger Rabbited into real life, would approach children and teach them about LGBT, DEI, all of this different stuff. Like, they had the Steven Universe characters that were educating kids on the different ways you can be gay. They had other Steven Universe characters coming through and talking about the invention of the light bulb and how Thomas Edison stole it. And that again, like that, a lot of that stuff, I tuned out after that, but there were like 5 more of like Cartoon Network characters coming out and they were, why did we go out of business? And they're characters that were just coming out and like doing PSAs, not about drugs, not about having unwed sex, not about making sure that you don't get in vans with strangers, telling you it's okay to be gay, and you're like a show aimed at 12-year-olds. Like that, I was done. I was like, nope, I don't care. I don't care what happens on Cartoon Network anymore. They can bring back Toonami. They can make the whole damn thing Toonami. Just be the Toonami damn channel. I'm never coming back. And I walked. Because it's just not, you can create, remember in Sailor Moon, they called them cousins, but everybody knew? Even in the Japanese version, they were out and gay, but they weren't overtly hanging off each other, declaring, I am Sailor Neptune, the gayest of the sailors.
They weren't saying they were super gay, but they were definitely hanging off each other's arms and everything. It's not so in the original.
In the way that I'm speaking is in the sense of like pride.
They're declaring they're gay. I'm gay. Right. I'm gay. That's what he means. They're they're hanging off each other, doing public displays of affection, but they're not saying, I'm gay, notice me, like straight up.
The difference is that the characters are presented as genuinely being in love as opposed to trying to speak on behalf of people who are in love. This is the difference that I'm trying to point here, is that even like Jacob has this gay movie with lesbians that he reviewed, and I watched some of the clips from it, and you
got to narrow it down for more than that. But yeah.
Okay, it's the Thelma and Louise one, where they're in the 80s, and it wasn't terrible, but it was really forced. I think is what you said about it, is it got a 1 out of you instead of 0.
Stewart?
No. Not shit, is it that one? Because it was that one. Is it the one with Kristen Stewart, or is it
the guys in the trunk?
No, that's Drive Away Dolls. That's Drive Away Dolls. That's the significantly worse one.
So it got a 1 out of you instead of a 0. But what I want to point out in that is that that's the difference I'm talking about, is their relationship is like a sitcom love relationship. So when I say hang off of each other, it's performative. That's what I mean. When you see when you see Neptune and Uranus interacting with each other, they are genuinely in love. They are doing the same things that you see Serena and Prince Darien do later on in the series. It's focused on showing that they're in love, and that isn't painful. Whereas you come over here to the PSAs where they're like, hey man, we got to talk about this gay thing. It's unprompted. You remember this commercial, probably. It was one of the Steven Universe characters with the afro that walked into the middle of a park. Walked into the middle of a park, and 2 kids were talking about...
It's not those are original characters,
Their parents.
Garnet comes in. Yeah, that's right. Never mind.
Garnet comes in, and Garnet's talking to 2 kids that are talking about, I think, one of them having 2 dads or something. And she just starts, like, sort of dressing down any objection to that, instead of saying, like, you know what, sometimes there's 2 dads, sometimes there's 2 moms, but everybody make sure to get their permission slip signed. Remember, kids, if your teacher wants you to watch something and you don't have your teacher's permission, remind them they need your permission. And none of that. It was just, we got to talk straight on about all the different ways you can be gay to 12-year-olds. And that was just, the line got crossed there. We're no longer trying to make it okay to be gay. We're now lecturing people that gay is here to stay. And that's, I don't know. I think that's a line.
I'm gonna disagree with you completely on this, because I feel like you're delineating it between old stuff was okay, modern stuff is okay, or is bad, because like a PSA just saying like people can be gay, that's way different than a full-on narrative in a TV show, right? And I also just feel like they're not saying you go out and be gay. They're saying like gay people, they're doing essentially what you're saying. Even if, I also feel like if they came out and they said, hey, go get your parents' permission for whatever, I don't know. I just feel like
I'll push back on that just a little bit
because it's gay, but like just be honest about it instead of trying to go around it.
I'll push back on that just a little bit. I think what you're seeing here, and this is really just the end result of what we've been suffering from for the last like 15, 20 years here. It's like, if it was just like a one-off PSA saying that it's okay to be gay, I don't think anyone would have like thought twice about it, right? They probably would have just like moved on to the next thing. I think we're just at a point now, especially culturally, where because there's just so much of, you know, trans, this, gay, that, LGBTQ, now like anything that may even seem somewhat, you know, non-threatening, I guess, kind of way to explain it to you now, people are just hypersensitive to it. So now it's they're just compiling that on top of all the other stuff that we see here.
I definitely
it's like the saying that I say all the time. It's like, you know, once is a coincidence, you know, twice is a pattern, 3 times is an agenda, right? And when it happens like 50 times, now everyone's questioning essentially the what's the best way, how can I say this safely for you? Intentions, let's use it that way. So people are just questioning the intentions like behind it now, because it's like, is this someone who, let's say, what was that guy, Justin Bolgoni guy, that guy just did the movie with Blake Lively, is this someone who's genuinely concerned about a specific issue that he wants to bring attention to, or is this kind of just, oh, let's just throw this in the pile of all the other Me Too crap that they shoved down our throat over the last several years? I think it's just people are more hypersensitive to it now, where, like I said, we saw this stuff like 20 years ago and no one would have thought twice about it. No one would have like thought that, oh, there's something nefarious going on here. But it's like now the people are just so sick and tired of it that even if you mention like the word gay, it's almost like it's a buzzword on their radar, and they think to themselves, oh, well, here we are again. They're doing it again, right? Even if it's not that, it's happening so much now. People just assume that it is, for better or worse.
And I 100% get that, and I understand that, and I don't have anything against anybody who has that hypersensitivity. It's just, to me, feeding, like allowing yourself to have like hit that hypersensitivity and then allowing yourself to go and run with it doesn't really, to me, it doesn't help our side of getting things back to where they were, because people can just go, oh, you're hysterical. Anything with a rainbow, you're going to lose your minds about. And that's an easy way for them to just kick out the chair from under us, because like, yeah, no, it's not anything with a rainbow. It's the way you're going about it. Are you lecturing us, or are you presenting them as actual characters? But then when we start just screaming at anything rainbow, they can easily just write us off and go, it doesn't matter. They're going to yell at it.
Well, and look at it from this perspective too. After like hearing for like a straight week about how Agatha all along is like the gayest thing that you'll ever see in your entire life, and having that just smushed into your face for an entire week, then that one person who's just kind of like outside be like, they go, hey, you know, a generic message like, hey, being gay is okay. You're going to give that certain person essentially the same venom that you were going to give the corporate message, because you're so sick and tired of hearing the corporate message. You don't even care what the actual intentions are between like this guy. It's just like everyone's just catching heat at that point. I mean, that's kind of the reaction that you're saying. And it's not particularly their fault, but I mean, it's just like I said, the way that things are right now, like we literally push people to react in extreme ways now, and it's like you can't really do anything, put the genie back in the bottle at this point.
Oh, right? No. Like, again, that's why, like, I don't fault anybody for saying that. It's just sort of like, I don't know. Over the past few weeks, I've just seen so many people having the most reactionary, bad faith takes on, and not people here, not nobody on the panel. Like, I'm not calling out Cider or anything.
Yeah,
like,
Nerdigans.
People,
yeah,
she's the worst one about it. So many people are losing their mind and being disingenuous and sort of undercutting their own, what I thought we were supposed to be doing out here.
I get it. You're talking about Melanie Mack. You can mention her name. Everyone gets it at this point.
Of course it's Melanie Mack. I mean, she's one of them. But it's sort of like, I saw a bunch of, so in Agatha, one of the characters is Billy Kaplan, who is Wanda's kid. And in the comic books, back in 2005, the character was conceived as gay, as a gay teenager. And now you have so many people who go, we want source material respect. We want to go to the days before all of this. And they're going, look at how woke Marvel is. They're making this character gay. And it's like, okay, so now you guys are just trying your hardest to just rage bait. And I'm sort of...
My only question to that would be, is that a long-standing... By long-standing, I mean, is that a character that's been around for longer than 20 years? Or is that more kind of like the Asian Hulk Marvel Now era of character?
It's going to be so he was 2005, so he's almost 20 years, so he's like 19. But yeah, he's been around.
So he was basically the transition period, but not like
He was in that period when it was like, oh, we can start putting in gay characters, and we're just going to put them in instead of everybody look at this book. You want your gay book? Here's your gay book.
Yeah. I mean, and I get it. I mean, there's two ways you can like look at that too. Because, like I said, yeah, I mean, if it was like the way that they wrote that character, like back in like the 60s and 70s, it's like, hey, look, that's the way that was originally intended. But as we know, Marvel's they've been pushing back on it now because they're losing a lot of money. But they've also been trying to present all these characters we created over the last 10 years.
I know.
And they're insert this and insert that, and people have been rejecting them too. So it's like, yeah, if you're trying to like push at such as like Ironheart and be like, oh yeah, we're being comically accurate because we're using Ironheart. I was like, oh, that's not technically the same thing, but I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's like what's that meme? It's like, oh, it's accurate to the comics. When were those comics written? Like,
yeah, exactly. 2019.
Oh yeah, so awesome, so subversive.
Here, put it to you this way: if your comic book writer is not currently dead, I don't want you. He has to be dearly departed before I respect anything.
Yeah, then I don't want you pulling from the source material if the writer's not dead.
The thing that I want to stress about this is that it's agenda fatigue. It's not gay fatigue.
Yes,
agenda fatigue.
I know. Oh,
I don't.
100%.
I don't.
Like I said, it's glad fatigue.
Programming. So
like I said, it's glad fatigue, and I mentioned this with a review. I'm not even sure if what was my last movie review for Bounding? I think it was somewhere along those lines. Oh yeah, it was the Aubrey Plaza movie, the My Old Ass movie, the one that I did just like a week ago, and I literally said that in that review. The only reason that this film exists is because Amazon's trying to up their numbers for the studio index report for when GLAAD like hits him. It's like, oh, you guys didn't have enough gay representation like in the movie, right? That's the sole reason why this film exists, and people see right through it. So that's the agenda that people are against the most. When you're clearly just trying to do this, they get on someone's good side because, oh, you got a bad representation report last year.
And so I guess that explains better what I was trying to get at is when I'm talking about performative, when I'm talking about that, it's the corporate gay, I guess is the best way to put it. It's corporate gay.
Yeah.
And so that's not people you meet on the street. That's not people either that are going around undulating in the faces of children in their underwear.
It's not you got it right
there.
It's not Nerdigan's gay, it's more Sarah K. Ellis gay that people have a problem with.
Sure. and so that's where I draw the line with the stuff with the PSA from Cartoon Network. That was not intended to help children. That was intended to cross off a box. How you help children is showing them the characters in their functional lives, kind of like how we found out of nowhere that North Star was gay. Is that you just have a guy doing his job, and then he just happens to pick up the phone and say, hello, honey, and there's a dude on the other side. Or there's two women that talk to each other in a little more friendly way than they ordinarily would. It's kind of like how we don't show heterosexuals just walking around and be like, I'm straight! I like pussy! You know, we just don't do that. We don't have the orange and black
Not anymore. We haven't
parades,
gotten a new Ben Wilder movie in years.
Well, exactly. What are you doing, Ryan? What are you doing? So that's the thing.
The worst filmography of all time.
Right. Yeah, the worst. Yeah. So the
I mean, Amanda Stenberg's pretty up there, so I wouldn't give him all that.
but that's where we're kind of at. Is that in my opinion, anyway? That's what I'm reacting to when I bring up that stuff and the Agatha situation. When people misrepresent that character as like they're frustrated with him being gay and saying they need to go back to how he was originally represented, even though he was originally gay, that comes from that corporate gay perspective. This character isn't like North Star that's just a superhero who happens to be gay on the side. This is a character that's explicitly there to tell you gays are here to stay. Not that like we've been here the whole damn time. You know, we're here and we're queer. We're never going any weird.
It's the statementalizing of it, if that's even a term.
That's going to get clipped.
You guys know what I mean. Yeah, hell yeah.
It's like that was the old mantra. It's like we're here, we're queer, get used to it. Now if you say that, someone will be like, well, what about the trans people? Then they start infighting, and then like next thing you know, people are just pulling out cell phones, like watching the chaos.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the metrosexual episode of South Park, where you know all the guys were metro, and Mr. Garrison and Mr. Slade got
like you
so
bring up
fed
that
up by
episode
it
every week.
That's just really, really good. And also, like, I really hope Matt and Trey do an episode using Mr. Slay for this, for what's happening with the corp, because you say corporate gay. Yeah, we kind of need that, because as soon as I saw the interview where they said Agatha was going to be so gay, there's like a gay explosion at the end. The first thing I thought of was Bigger, Longer, and Uncut with Mr.
All those criticisms, by the way, that whole press tour thing, I'm not, like, I'm right there with everybody else on that one. That's not what that was.
But yeah, like the first thing I thought of, in Mr. Or Big Gay Al's performance, like at the end when he does everything's perfect when you're gay, and he has like the full on like setup with him dressing up as the Statue of Liberty and all the gay people and all that. And this,
can they even do Mr. Slave anymore? Is that too offensive for our current time?
I think it is. I think that's going to be one that.
But Matt and Trey don't care.
He shows up in background shots, but he doesn't do anything anymore.
But he's married to Big Gay Al.
I know. I just said he shows up in background shots, but he doesn't really do anything anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that they talk about the time that Chef became the Darth Vader of Nambla either. I think that they kind of like let that one.
Well, that was done specifically to be a nephew. So
yeah.
Yeah.
They got that one. But
Although
I think
it did make me sad because in the what is it? The Stick of Truth, the video game, the final boss is Chef, but it's the zombie Michael Jackson Chef from like season 2. And I'm like, dude, you had the Vader Chef. Why didn't you just use him? That's
licensing.
Perfect. I guess. I know.
Now, real quick before,
but I guess.
Real quick before we wrap things up here, I have a question specifically for Nerdigans. So Nerdigans, is that little is that your Cash App link there on the bottom right there?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then. So here's the deal. I will Cash App you $5 right here live on this show. If you go into your closet and you put on that damn Packers jersey that I've been asking for 3 hours.
Why do you want to wear my Packers jersey so bad?
Just do it.
Why?
I'm leaving.
$5 free. I have it on here.
Number one fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go put it. Even Kitty is meowing at me. Fine, I'll go.
He knows it'll get her the wet stuff, the wet food.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't. There's no wet food for Kitty. He has treats and he has dry food.
That's what I mean. He knows this is the $5. You can spend it towards that.
Fine, I will put it on.
I am literally paying for your cat to live.
This is a little.
Somebody's got to. No, I'm kidding.
Somebody's got to feed that.
We did when she gets back. There's one that she wants to talk about the Hero Organization over on Medibang over on their Manga Plus.
Oh, that new series, yeah.
That new series, yeah. It's worth a read. We'll talk about it when Nerdigans gets back after she finds her jersey that Jacob's obsessed with.
It's probably going to take a while. She has to dig through all the crap in her car. She might be a hoarder. I don't think anyone's put that together, but it's probably going to.
Hope and pray they shouldn't have her headphones on.
See, there we go.
There you go.
Are you satisfied?
Mm-hmm. Boo. Don't listen to him. He's a Bears fan. He doesn't care.
I know he's a Bears fan.
See, I'm a man of my word.
I'm not a Bears fan. I'm a pre-Steelers quarterback fan.
Oof, that sounds worse that you said it like that.
Now, I want to make it abundantly clear, going forward, there will not be pay Nerdigans to wear things part of the show, okay? This is
that was exclusive.
Thing.
That was exclusive to the Packers. We're not putting on bunny outfits or anything like that.
I don't have bunny outfits.
Okay, that's not.
We will only
say back to that. I just want to say to you, don't say that. Say I don't want to do that. Don't say I don't have a bunny outfit. Someone will send it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's there.
That's exactly
it's gonna be a mysterious black box with an emblem on it, and no one's gonna know where it came from.
Yeah. So just a word of advice. Next time, for whatever reason that comes up, just say, I don't want to do that. Not, I don't have a bunny suit. Kind of changes the dynamic a little.
Yep.
See, that's just it. I don't want that. We got weebs, and we got comic book fans, and it gets just, dumpling smelling enough around here with that. All right. So that's.
And that's mostly because I don't shower. So that's
we got gamers. No.
I was making a yellow joke, a bit of yellow journalism, if you will.
It's the gamer funk. But,
And as a man of my word, I have in fact sent Nerdigans the money and a little message that only she can read, and she'll understand it.
I would love it. I would love to. I'd love to dress up as a Dragon Quest bunny girl, but I can't. I'm too poor.
once
There you
again,
go, it's gonna happen.
once again, you've
You're
now
gonna get your fans.
that's twice you've invited somebody to send you a bunny outfit, okay, in less than 10 minutes.
You just gotta do what all the other like female streamers do, and you have like the Amazon wish list where you just leave that out.
I
and
know.
people
I
send
gotta
it.
update. I gotta update my Amazon wish list. It's something that I've been needing to do. But Kitty,
Like,
why are
parasocial
you doing
relationships
that?
are bad, but man, I'm down to foster one if somebody wants to buy me a bunch of shit from Amazon that I want.
You gotta wear a bunny suit first.
Yeah, see,
Oh, do
dudes,
it.
we can't do Amazon wish lists. It's just like, you know, where I mean,
Yes,
hey,
okay,
this is foot scrub on Amazon that I really like because, you know, I want to just scrape away my calluses. So if you want to go
No,
buy
like,
that for me,
'cause
that'd be
what
cool.
happens is if a girl goes out and makes like an Amazon wish list, everybody's like, "Oh, I can get her something to be nice." If a guy does it, it's like, "Get a job, broke ass." Like you can go
Exactly.
buy this yourself.
You freaking J-Bron.
I feel like we're starting something we can't really put back in the jar. So let's
No.
not.
Bunny
Let's not
stream,
push any-
4K. We'll see you there.
Oh boy. So anyway,
Yeah.
this is Hero Organization over on Sueisha's Medibang website. So if you want to
Or
go over
Manga
there and
Plus,
check it out,
you mean?
Manga Plus.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're loving this one. This was one you.
Oh, this
found
series
and brought
was.
to us.
This chapter, the chapter that we got this week, was shocking as hell. The ending was just everyone in the comment section was losing their mind. They did not think that. You got to go read the second chapter for the twist ending. But this art is beautiful from what we've seen here. It's a really good mecha series. If you are a Gundam fan, you will love this
Well,
manga.
what's it about? You got to give us a tease.
Real
So-
quick, this isn't Madhouse, is it? Or am I
No,
thinking of somebody else?
No,
Not yet.
Madhouse is an anime studio. But basically, what this series is you have this father who goes out into space to make his son proud and fight for like a civilian part of the Space Corps, and it turns out it's a trick. It's a trick he's used to. He ends up being used to as a recruitment tool, so to speak, to kill these star beasts. And it is wild. It is so beautiful, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. I would say that for people who enjoy the crisscross between Gundam and Super Robot, they'll probably enjoy a bit of this. This is I've read the first chapter, not the second yet. For any guy out there that wants to be a dad, this really hones in on the feeling of like, if I do become a dad, I need to be able to set a really high standard for my son because I really want to make sure that he succeeds. And this father who sort of fell short with his dreams is now trying to live up to the talent that his son has
Shinzo,
from birth.
Is that you?
Yeah. So he's, and he's very geared toward like this. For me, I really enjoy these stories where there's a father character. It's not entirely focused on a child. I really enjoy a father character being present because we don't see this a lot in Japanese anime and
I was
Japanese
gonna say
media.
we do not get a lot of that.
Dads aren't
You
around
got
a
like
lot.
Goku and Boruto.
Yeah. And that again, so you don't have a lot of dads hanging around. And so this is a really nice refresh of the mecha genre of having a very strong family element to it. And I think Gundam has kind of been missing that. I think that's what people really enjoyed about Gundam Wing is that even though the characters and the pilots were spread apart, they still had sort of like that group of friends, that blood brothers sort of attitude about each other when they did get together again. And this kind of has that sort of familial, I'm sacrificing for my family. I'm sacrificing for my son. I'm sacrificing for the future of everyone I love. And so this has that really good feeling coming from an adult character for once, as opposed to a 12-year-old that doesn't have sort of responsibilities. So I like it.
Yeah, no, I very much enjoyed the first chapter. I like that the mecha designs are sort of like You know how like Final Fantasy designs their dragons, like their bombets, and they sort of look like they're buildings and they're modular a little bit. That's sort of what all these mechs look like. It's like Big O meets Bommet from Final Fantasy. It looks awesome.
Yep. Pretty,
But I'm
it's
gonna say this
exaggerated.
though before I forget. Today is Jump Plus's 10-year anniversary, and I gotta say, like,
That's the mobile, right?
yeah, this is Jump Plus and the Japanese version of Manga Plus. This is Japanese. Manga Plus's Japanese counterpart. And I gotta say, they've been putting out really good content over the past 10 years. That includes like Spy Family, Hell's Paradise Jigakuraku, Kaiju number 8, obviously Hero Organization.
I just started Hell's Paradise.
You just started it?
Yeah, I've been slacking on it.
I covered it from like chapter 17 to the end, and I tweet with Kaku every once in a while. And Kaku watched my content too. There is
that, yeah.
Yeah, Kaku's actually doing a new series, but they can't. I've been trying to get some word out of him, but they're going to announce it hopefully before the end of this year. But yeah, Kaku, there is a new Kaku series coming out. There's Spy Family I've been covering since chapter 3. It's crazy. But yeah, there's a lot of good series coming out of Jump Plus.
No, I mean, I've been reading that one too since the beginning. There's another good father figure series.
Yeah, it is. You can make the argument that Kafka is a good father figure series in a way, because he is kind of like that mentor to Leno, and as well as the younger recruits. But I really do like the direction Jump Plus is going in. I like that Manga Plus is added the one-shot program to the app, so now we get to look at the one-shots that Japan's looking at. Something I'm hoping they're doing, and this is something that Kodansha just started doing for the Magapoke readers, is now the Japanese readers have access to K manga, so they can practice English. It's a part of a collaboration. So what I'm hoping is going to happen, what I'm trying to get done with Momoyama, because I tweeted them about it, is I asked if we could have something like that in reverse here, because more Westerners want to learn Japanese, and see if we can get a program like that happening over here.
Man, it's so much harder for us to do it. But I guess, yeah, kids these days, that would be good for them, because then they can get in on learning it early.
Even for us, like just for us learning.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, getting older, it's harder to learn languages, and Japanese in particular is wild.
Yeah, but I just think it's cool that that's what Kodansha is doing.
Oh, yeah.
On the Japanese side of things, I think it's really great that they're doing it. I know some Westerners were pissed. They're like, well, what about for us, for the rest of the world that's waiting for K manga? It's like, well, it's something called regulations. Australia, for example, has banned a lot of manga. They're a pain in the butt to deal with. Same with the UK. They got regulations too. So you gotta wait for that. You gotta wait for them to deal with.
Yeah, you got to wait for them to put all the black bars and rays of lights on everything.
Ain't that the truth? But yeah, I'm just hoping that we could get something like that eventually. Hopefully we'll get more serious. Hopefully, eventually, I hope we get Kingdom. I'm still bugging them about Kingdom.
I still have no idea why that's never coming around.
It doesn't make sense. There's a huge Western fan base for Kingdom, and they want to stop piracy.
It's got all these movies and stuff, and it could be.
Are we basically at like the Battlefield Bad Company like 3 level of just let's just give up on this whole thing? We've waited for it for so long.
We're not giving up on Kingdom. I'm not. Well, everyone's pirating Kingdom.
That's what I mean. Like, you can get it. I don't need to. I've got it. I've read it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but people just would like to legally own it. But
well, with that though, that brings us to the end of the run here. That pretty much covers what we have.
Oh, do we want to briefly mention Dragon Maid that got announced?
Nope, get out of here, everybody. Click.
Go ahead, Nerdigans. What's up with that? Dragon Maid thing?
Yeah, so Keo Andy had a stream this morning, and they announced 2 projects, and one of them is the long-awaited Dragon Maid sequel, but they are doing, instead of like a TV anime for Akana's story arc of the manga, they are doing a movie, and that's coming out in 2025.
Okay.
Awesome. I mean, I know there's a lot of Dragon Maid fans out there who are stoked for it. Hopefully the hype keeps going over a year. It seems like a little early, but good for Dragon Maid fans. I've only read the like first couple of volumes. I am not caught up by any means.
So,
I'm not a weeb, so I'll be the last man out.
Jacob has friends and does things.
I was enjoying my weekend drive, just getting out here, clearing my mind.
Sorry to ruin it. Jeez.
Detached.
And then there was like, then Cider was like, "Oh, here's a link for the show that's gonna start at 5 p.m. Oh, great! Now I gotta go back home."
Hey, that's on you. We scheduled this for like all week now. That's on you for not looking.
So yeah, there we are. Now, as we usually do,
single-handedly blaming Cider for ruining my life.
Why not? It's worked for several other people. So it's quite a list of people that like to take credit for that. So
it's growing, actually.
Yeah, right. You can improve this list. You can add on to this
You
list.
got an entire Genshin army after you now.
Yeah, right.
Oh, the kids are coming after you now?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to it. I just
Well,
say shit, throw
they
it into the
come after
void.
him in the sense that they whine about him a lot. I see it in our replies and everything.
Yeah,
A lot.
I'm the cool guy that doesn't look at explosions. I blow stuff up and walk away. So
Oh,
it's
at
just-
least
Good.
they're too busy going after the streamers that have that betrayed them because they're partnering with Genshin and McDonald's.
Betray.
Top 10 anime betrayals.
So, Mr. Erdigans, when we leave here, where do they find you? Where do our audience find you?
Well, you can find me on Nerdigans Inc. on YouTube, where we're covering manga and anime every day. On my Patreon, patreon.com/packergirl, I will be covering anime. Like, I know I'm behind. I gotta do 2.5D Seduction for this week. Oh my god, that thing is censored to all hell and back. And botched to an extent. Then next month we will be covering some of this next season's anime, like Bleach, Dragon Ball Daima, and there was one other one I was going to cover. Probably I might cover Four Nights of the Apocalypse too. But also you can find me on Twitter, which is right there, my Twitter handle, where I'm causing a lot of shenanigans and insanity. And I post a lot of news content up there as well. And yeah, I know. I posted the Dragon Maid stuff in the Slack, Spencer, so you can take a look at it. I'll find the other stuff that I have for Assassin's Creed that I had from the New York Times article. See if there's anything you need, anything you want to do from that as well. So.
Okay.
And then go donate to her Cash App. Go follow her Patreon. Go watch all of her content. It's good. If you want anime, there's a reason we have some of the best anime coverage. It's because of her. She is on the pulse at all times. Again, she's got ins with actual mangaka and anime people.
Yeah.
So Jacob, where do we find you?
She's
out
even
there?
got a Japanese like an enemy at a Japanese production company. It's great. She's real. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay, if there's any Japanese animators out there, please do not turn Nerdigans into an actual animated character. Her ego does not need the boost.
You already did it.
I already did it.
That's already what she is in our intros.
Once again,
He doesn't even watch the intro.
No. Once again, single-handedly ruined my life.
Yep, forever. So, I'm not ruining your life, Jacob. Where do they find you?
So you can find me over at Society Reviews. We got a lot of content coming up there. I'm making videos again from our streams. I am currently actively trying to cut up some of our old Bible in streams to make a separate channel for that. I had to make a whole separate thing so that way YouTube doesn't try to like throw all that right out of the gate. So putting a lot of work into that. Probably will be putting a lot more work into that over the next several weeks. Barroom, go back and check out our episode this week. We talked about the Diddy stuff. We talked about a whole bunch of other things going on in the world right now. Sports. We'll probably talk about more sports in next week's episode because there's a couple of interesting topics to discuss. Civil War at ESPN, Chelsea falling apart over in London, so that'll be an interesting talk. And we're also going to review that Substance movie on Tuesday night as well. So we'll check that out there. tomorrow night is my next episode of the Bible Lens. I believe we're at 62 now, and episode 62 is going to be asking the question, will the United States of America survive the Great Tribulation, and what exactly will happen to the country during that time period? So it'll be a very interesting deep dive into scripture tomorrow night. And then that's probably it. Maybe after I'm done fixing some food, I'll join MSK and ruin his show. So that's all I got going on.
All right, and Spencer, where did
Does
they find
MSK
you
have
out
a
there?
couch yet? Does
No.
he have like a
He doesn't have a
couch?
couch. He doesn't have a bed. Like in all honesty, if there's somebody who
I love
needs
the
like
MSK,
money
but come on,
to
man.
donate, if you guys can donate to his what is it, Cash App, so he can go to Goodwill and buy a damn couch he can sleep on, please do so, because he is in desperate need of furniture.
Throw some money to Nerdigans and then throw some money to our boy MSK,
Yeah.
because the man is living in, you know, all those memes where it's like, this is all guys need and it's ridiculous, and it's like
Yeah.
a TV on the floor and a mattress.
Mhm.
That's kind of what he's living right now.
An empty Vizio box is not the equivalent of actual furniture. It's like,
He's had it in the background. I'm like, dude, move it. He's like, why? It's decoration. I'm like,
he has a
"Yeah."
TV mount with no TV. He has like a empty like was it circle fan box somewhere in his room. He just bought a bookshelf that he pretty sure he got from IKEA from like $5. He thinks, oh, okay, now I'm upgrading now. So yeah, if there's anyone who's in desperate need of cash, it's that dude. So
hit up Nerdigans and hit up MSK. Absolutely.
mm-hmm.
And where do they hit up you, Spencer?
Yeah, no, as for me, guys, first of all, I want to thank every single one of you for coming to hang out with us on this Saturday afternoon. This was a nice change of pace. I actually had a lot of fun. Coming hanging out on the weekend. So thanks for hanging out with us, and thank you for getting us to 20,000 subscribers. That's awesome. We couldn't have done it without you guys. I know, again, big shout outs to John Trent, who got us started here. In case you guys miss him and you didn't already know, you can catch out his stuff over at thatparkplace.com where he's working. But then, yeah, also massive shout out to Cider, who has done an incredible job elevating our content, getting us out there, building a huge rapport with Japanese players. Like this stream, I know we're saying 20,000 bounding into comic stream, but this to me is Cider's the man stream. This is a Cider celebration stream. So you're the man. We couldn't be doing this without you. I'm so happy you're here, Cider. And I'm so happy all of you stuck around for all of this. As always, you can catch us on boundingintocomics.com every day, where we are putting up news stories, anime from Nerdigans, video games from Ryan and Nicola, anything in between from me, DC stuff from JB. So check it out every day. There's always new stuff going up. Check out the YouTube channel where you guys already are right now, where Cider is putting up the awesome content every day, including Bounding Into Bangers, which are all these awesome songs that you are hearing in our videos that he shares on Twitter and all that fun stuff. Don't worry, we'll try and get them assembled in some way for you guys to snag for free. Obviously, we're not going to charge you money for them, but we'll see what's going on with that. We'll get back to y'all, because I know if you're anything like me, you're probably rocking them as much as I am. So check out all the Bounding Into Comics stuff. You can check out me on my own channel, Studio Kabuto, but you don't care about that. Go follow everybody else here. Follow Cider, follow Jacob, follow Nerdigans, and follow us. And we will see you next Wednesday.
Exactly. And Spencer, again, like, circles, everything right here very well. But I want to stress one thing, is that I do appreciate people tuning in and deciding that Bounding Into Comics is okay going forward. I won't downplay the win. Spencer gets after me about that all the time, too.
Dead in 6 months, baby.
But
Dead in 6 months, and here we are, hitting the peaks.
But this is, again, like, because of you folks. You had patience with us as we transformed this into a different beast than what it was last year around this time. And we appreciate you being here on the ride, especially, as Spencer noted, with the music we've added into the programming and how we're probably going to put that out into an album. That might be a CD or a good old vinyl you can slap down on your 45 player. You remember that? Put a record on the old jukebox.
At the very least, I'm pressing one edition of the Bounding Into Bangers album, and I'm sending it to you.
Yeah, right.
Like, literally, when I was listening to the intro of this show, I started thinking to myself, when do we get Ghostface Killer to do an intro for our show?
That's what I'm saying. We're getting there.
I just got to tune the AI a little bit more.
You know who we can get? This is so random. My friend sent this to me before we went live. The Log Cabin Republicans, like the LGBT Republican Party or whatever, they're having their annual like pre-election conference, and their speakers are a bunch of generic conservative like icons. You guys know them, you love them, but the headliner is Chingy. Like,
I don't know who that is.
I know who that is.
Serious
right?
Cheeky the rapper? Oh my god!
At the holiday.
We severely overestimate.
We could get him.
We severely underestimate Cider's mainness on this show. We have to remember that Maine is basically like a different planet from like the rest of the world.
I was watching these nostalgia compilations from the early 2000s. I was like, I don't recognize any of this. I remember a damn minute of any
He just
of it.
watching Little Bow Wow and the Twist commercials. Like, when did this happen?
Exactly. I'm watching a lot of these commercials and these like music videos and these performances. I'm like, who the hell are these people? I never remember a second of this. Not been a car commercial that I remember.
I'm
That's
with you
it.
on that side, because especially with music videos, like I wasn't really. It took me a while to get into like music, and for a long time I would be only listening to like video game stuff as like an 11, 12-year-old. And so yeah, I've retroactively gone back and watched everything, but I remember getting into high school and everybody's like, you remember this, you remember that? And I'm like, nope. You guys remember Mega Man Battle Network 3? Here's the intro song.
Yeah, right. And people just don't
prom somehow. So
yeah, same twice. So the
you beat me out.
Yeah, right. I went junior and senior, and then I went to someone else's senior prom too. So technically, I went 3 times. So the it helps when you're like a stage guy.
That's true, but they should also just hire you now to write all the prom episodes of everything. Because
well, I did have Dear Cider, so maybe I should bring that back. So if anybody watching this. So if anybody watching this or watching the replay, if you want dating advice, I am 2-0 for dating advice on another channel. So please feel free to send an email over or message me or write down in the comments if you feel that bold. Any advice you'd like to have, we'll read it here and I'll address it with you live. Not a pre-recorded video unless you, of course, catch the stream afterwards. But I'll address it live. So if you want to be in the chat and talk about it, respond to it, whatever. I don't like to do this stuff pre-recorded because I think it helps people to be able to ask questions live and then we have to accept that, okay, that 2 minutes and 45 seconds, what did you mean by this? You know, that kind of thing. So,
oh, yeah.
Yep. So, yeah. Other than that, we'll end the stream now. 1 vote for me. 1 so far. So, anyway, we'll end the stream now. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you for 20K, and we'll catch you later.
Here's the next.